Coming up next, former head writer of Saturday Night Live, Jim Downey.
Jim Downey.
Jim Downey.
James Downey.
Yep.
My boss, your boss, right?
In a sense, yeah.
He was
collaborator.
Oh, he told me he was my
writer.
boss.
He was David's boss.
Yeah.
David's contracts would be in 7 to 10 day increments.
7 to 10 minutes.
I had a 12-year contract. But
God,
David would be.
Phil got a 3-year one. I was shitting. They go, we're going to give you, they give him like 2 years, $3 million or something.
For Phil?
Phil Hartman.
When he re-upped?
When he did his last year.
He did his initial 5 and then he went up.
Because he had power to do it. I think you might have gone, but he stayed.
Good Lord. No, I only kick because David's always self-deprecating about his time on the SNL.
Yeah, well,
world.
what happened was they would call in the summer and say if you got picked up again and you didn't know, so I'd have to lug my fucking mattress out of my apartment, get out of my apartment, cancel it, come to LA and stay in my other one I shared with someone, and then they'd hire me back, and I go, fuck, just tell me I'm hired so I don't have to stress the fuck out, and I have to fly all the way back and get an apartment. It's like I wasted even more money and time. So.
I remember that, because at the party, you'd say sometimes to Lorne Michaels, hey, I'll see you Monday at the meeting. Lorne goes, perhaps. And that was chilly, and I'd pull Lorne aside and go, Lorne, come on, I mean, David's really funny. We should just sign him up for at least 2 weeks.
I go, who's the host Monday? He goes, we'll see if you'll know. I go, why? Because you might not need to know.
Where should I sit in the Monday meeting room? Should I be up on the couch or should I just go Indian style on the floor? You can decide later. Marcy, you would make room for David? I don't know if we have.
Is it Michael Keaton? Who told you that? I go, well, Lauren, I'm on the show. I have to write for him. Do you? I go, well, I work here, right? Do you?
Do you? David's going through that thing of like, am I really on the show or not? And he just sort of hangs around the soda machine. We should have him removed from the premises.
Exactly. It was tough out there. So every year I'd get picked up. And I never got more than a 1-year pickup. So it was tough.
So Jim Downey.
Great, big writer. We didn't say this. Head writer, he did first 5 years of SNL. Then he went and started Letterman for 5 years. So 2 monster shows in there.
And then he returns to SNL as the head writer when I arrived.
Yeah.
And he was head writer for like 11 years. Then he wrote Update with Norm Macdonald, stuff like that. He has a great resume. He's like this big presence at SNL that maybe some of you aren't as familiar with. So this will be a little different flavor. We do all kinds. A lot of people go, just go with huge stars. I go, guess what, fans? We're going to have some real writers. We're going to have people down in the bowels of 30 Rock.
Dennis said he's the second most important person in the history of SNL. He is. There's Lauren, and then there's Jim being such a big powerhouse writer and forming the type of writing we're doing. I had to run by stuff by him all the time, and it was very hard to get his attention because the head writer is pulled in every direction. So everyone
is trying to get a hold of the head writer to punch up their thing.
Yeah, and he did all those Letterman bits at the beginning. So he's great, and he's kind of a recluse, and he didn't know how to do Zoom. So it's great we got him on to talk.
He never Zoomed, never been on a podcast, never listened to a podcast.
Yeah, that's true, right?
So he broke the seal on 3 things in our little time with Jim.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got another joke. Should I waste it here? Okay. Oh no, Dana will get mad at this one. This is just a joke. Okay. So here's if a girl's having an orgasm. If they're having a medium one, they say, Heather, back me up on this. They say, oh my, oh my, oh my. And if they're having a really good one, they go, oh God, oh God, oh God. And if they're not having one, they go, oh Dana, oh Dana.
See, so I pulled you into the room.
Yeah.
I'm the guy. Well, I heard this from reliable sources that when David is getting with a woman and he has an orgasm, he screams his own name.
God damn it.
David!
Who told you that? That's why I do it in this room. It's soundproof.
It's funny. When you hear these things, you go, well, how many orgasm verbal jokes do I have in my head? That's the only one I remember.
I just heard it because someone did it to me, so I had to do it to you. Even though you're a happily married man, I just said, this is funny. I'll use Dana.
I laughed Then I was kind of delighted. Then I was offended. This is all within 0.3 of a second. Then I thought, I'll come back with my David Screams' own name.
Yeah, and now we're even.
Well,
what are we talking about?
Even Steven. I hate to be named Steven. Even Steven.
Oh, that would be the worst.
God, what a fucking nightmare name to have.
Now we got Downey. So Downey, sorry we went off track there, but that was a fucking real winner.
Jim Downey, a very interesting person. You could give him any subject in the world and leave the room. He literally goes to libraries at Yale, goes in and just reads.
What a nerd.
What a nerd. What a genius nerd.
Hey, what are you reading, nerd?
I'm reading Agricultural Manifestation, Early Colonial Times.
Sounds nerdy.
Half the people there are Harvard and Yale and Cambridge.
They're
all a bunch of nerds.
I wanted to ask him. He thought I was stupid when I joined because I went to Scottsdale Community College, but I think he never answered the question, so I think that's a yes.
You didn't know what Manifest Destiny was, and I remember the writers would get in a room, they'd laugh for hours. Did you hear what Spade didn't know what Manifest Destiny was?
Oh, I know. I'd walk around with a thesaurus, mostly for Dennis. All right, so Jim Downey is going to talk, and you're going to listen. So do it. Dana, we're going to put a pin in that story. Downey, my boss.
Robert Downey Jr.'s uncle?
Yeah,
let's just say so.
Is that real?
We've agreed. All parties have agreed that's the official line. Yeah.
I'm related to Philip Carvey from East Toronto, but there's no pizzazz to that.
No.
There's only 5 Carveys in North America. You've never met another Carvey, have you?
I absolutely have never met another Carvey. But weren't you born in Montana?
Yes.
Okay. See, I remember things.
I know, because people think I'm Canadian.
David Spade out of the Phoenix area. I know.
Easy. Scottsdale, easy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jeez, what a memory.
You know, Dana, Jim, when I got hired, Jim was the head writer of SNL. He's got a million credits we'll get to, but just quickly, when I got hired with Schneider, I think, Jim, you walked us through, you know. You had to walk us and say, here's your legal pad, here's a wooden desk that I thought jokes would come from, but I had to come up with them, and you go, and then you sit at this desk and stare at that white wall, and you sit at that one, and we're going to go from there. So, and that was it.
Everything I told you was true.
That was true. There was a desk.
More than the truth.
Yeah, no one went like overboard with what to do there.
Well, Jim came over to my office after that and said, I told him good, like you said. Anyway, that's inside baseball. But Jim and I had a kind of an inside joke about newcomers. Totally kidding.
It was part of the hazing. We all had to go through it except me, because I had already been there. So,
you were the original hazer at Harvard. Yeah. Did you ever get pink-bellied at Harvard?
Pink-bellied, no. Most of the brutal stuff, the caning and the paddling had been phased out. But
I always thought it was an insane practice of just this psychosocial, homoerotic hazing that would happen in men's dorms. I just thought, no, thank you.
Kissing the gunner's daughter, it was called.
Really? Oh, God, I didn't want to know.
And that was a blowjob.
That sounds more illicit than anything you've ever said in your life.
Yeah, it's not. None of that's true.
I was at the ASU. I was at ASU, Jim, which is a college. It's not Harvard.
Well, you had Frank Kush running your...
I had Frank Kush knocking people around, and I was getting hazed with... they spray painted a number on you, and you had to run around at 4 a.m. and bring everyone a river rock, and then do shots, and then they put oil and paprika on me. And when they pushed this button they sprayed on you, you had to say something they tell you to say. I was a little bit of a follower at the time, I feel. I wasn't really a leader, and I did it, and then I finally had to quit because I go, this isn't getting me as much as I thought it would out of life.
It all went uphill.
A river rock, what is that?
Well, when you're this is great. You're listening to the whole story and you pick something you like out of it. River rocks there's rivers in Arizona that are by Arizona State, and they don't ever have any water in them. So it's mostly rocks. And at the bottom, there's little smooth rocks from the flooding and rivers and what we have. So you just have to climb down the river, grab them, and then carry them in a bucket. They're super heavy. And the idea is it's a fucking drag. I think that's the idea.
See, I thought River Rock had to be code for something filthy or
illicit,
or for cocaine.
Because that's the way your mind thinks.
That's the end, sadly. I'm sorry.
The creative mind.
Now I feel I owe the entire state of Arizona an apology for that, and especially Arizona State University and the Sun Devils.
Yeah, I love Arizona State.
Yeah.
Should we go a little bit? Like, I don't know how much we can't cover the life of Jim Downey, but we can say he was a very, very young man out of Harvard and was hired to write on Saturday Night Live with the original cast.
That's right.
Yeah, that's fair, right?
That's the known more than the truth. Bill Murray and I were hired the same week, so we were put in an office together and stayed there for
Jesus.
Yeah.
How cool.
What was your thoughts? Do you remember, like, okay, to me, Bill Murray was always so intimidating. I really like him, but he just kind of scared me. Was he always like an intimidating figure because of his confidence or something, right?
And would he know you if he saw you today? Would he remember
I'm sure
that
he would
old
know me.
roommate?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Oh, no, they're very good friends.
I know.
They're very, very...
I just want to bust his balls.
He actually, I know what you're saying. In terms of comedy, he's not, he can be a little intimidating. There's some people who instantly, they want to sort of join in. And it's sort of the invitation's always there to, hey, let's goof around. And Billy is not, he's more like in life, he's a super friendly person. He's a guy who you walk down the street with him and he'll talk to everyone except like celebrity, paparazzi or stalkers. He has a really good sense of when someone's just a real person and someone's a pro,
Yeah. I mean, I had a front row seat on the 40th anniversary. I was waiting to do Chopped Broccoli at the piano. It was at Medley, and I'm just sitting there. And then Bill comes out, and he does a song on this, and it practically stole the show. His commitment was so extreme. I told him afterwards, it really was making me laugh.
There's a story behind that. Is the oldest piece I've ever been involved with from conception to actual production. That goes back to the fall, like 1977. That Billy would sing a fragment. He would sing the fragment like "Jaws, get away from me, Jaws." That thing, and then I was always obsessed with getting that on the show. And so when the 40th anniversary thing came up, I said, "Look, I want to complete that song. I want to write make it a song." And so I came up with the part about, and now Jaws, you found someone new. Tell me, Jaws,
what am I supposed to do?
No, am I not enough for you? And then so we added that, and Paul Schaefer came up with the tagline, "You bastard, Jaws," as the final thing. And then and so I was so obsessed with getting that on, I'd never push something harder. And Billy was sort of, okay, whatever, if you think, because we'd never done anything with it ever in all those years. But every few years I would bring it up and say, God, that should appear somewhere. And then when the time came to do the anniversary, I had already sort of, I was singing the song and pitching it to Maya Rudolph, and I guess Amy Poehler was in on it,
probably,
and Emily Spivey, who was a great writer, who of a younger generation, who worked on that whole sequence, and then but Billy was doing the Pebble Beach Pro-Am golf tournament, and he would not. That thing ended.
Well, that's
the night
right.
before, so he would not hear of leaving early. He not only had to stay for his part, but he absolutely refused to duck out of it before it was officially over. So I think our thing was a Sunday night, right? It had to be, right?
Yeah.
That's when they do those.
Very minimal rehearsal.
So the tournament ended like some kind of ceremony Saturday evening. And so that was the earliest he would consider leaving. So we had to get a private jet for him and everything, but he made it. He slept. He arrived in the hotel
which
like
I
Sunday,
paid for,
which David Spade paid for. I was really knocked out. And then Billy like slept for an hour in his hotel room. And then we got him to NBC, did the one and only rehearsal with Paul Schaefer up, believe it or not, in our old office upstairs. It just happened to be. And then with Emily Spivey was there. And then we went down. And then, by the way, I happened to wander through and check cue cards because I just, by habit. And someone had taken out "You Bastard."
Oh,
and yes, and not because it's dirty, but because it's offensive to people whose parents didn't bother to get married or something.
Jesus.
So,
really?
So, and I was like, no one had run that by me, and they also wouldn't let him say "Got you goddamn Jaws" because that supposedly is offensive to believing Christians. And so, I just said, you know what, I will take this on myself. It'll be my responsibility. So I just changed it back and said, if they have a problem with it, they can sue me. No one's going to complain. You will not get one call. And they did not get any calls.
Who has the balls to paint over that Picasso? You and Bill Murray writing something, and you're like, let me take a swing at this.
Well, this is...
Let me punch it up.
I ran into Emily after the fact, and I said, Emily, what the hell was that? She said, oh, yeah, they just told me we couldn't do that. And I said, no, you don't. I mean,
no.
They don't,
it's afterwards... Then they kind of seem to let it go. Because when I was doing the Italian waiters sketch with Victoria Jackson,
yes,
and I put her on a table, and Vicky's so funny and light.
She is the most game person ever.
And so she is for this, and then and then she puts her legs over, and I'm just talking and kind of moving, and that was the dress show. It killed. And then the air show, kind of pretending to get to me was either Schneider or Steve Korn or Robert Smigel, kind of going, hey, don't. I didn't remember if I kind of chose to ignore them.
Yeah.
And then I did it anyway. But then we never heard a word. Yeah.
That's your book, Choose to Kill.
Yeah. It's always going to be on the performer. I know that kind of note was just there for like legal reasons or the equivalent to something. And we told him, I gave him the note, but in fact, something that funny, they're not going to complain about. Of course.
People that watch the show want that. Jim, one time I think you were there. You were there my whole run, I'm pretty sure.
Probably, yeah.
But by the way, just as an insert, you were the head writer for 11 years? 86 to 97. And then let's get back to David's story.
Technically,
30 years.
Yeah, 85. I hate to say that was not one of our better seasons, but 85 until through 95. Yeah.
Okay. So David, what was your...
I was there. So I was saying in that train of thought, when I did an update with Dennis, and he says, I was doing an in and out list, what's in and what's out. And one of them was not enunciating so you can get stuff on the air and going out and get some pussy. And then Andrew Brewer comes back. I see him in the hallway. He goes, no. And I go, it did good. And he goes, I didn't say it didn't do good. And he goes, you have to fix it. And he goes, we're in the hallway behind the quick change by the page desk. And he goes, I go, come on, don't take this away. I got nothing. He goes, you can say hussy, but you can't say pussy. And I go, God damn it. So I go out there and then I go, I'm scared because it's coming up in the bit. It's making me so nervous. And I go out after the show and get some pussy. And it killed. And Dennis goes, you're dead, dude. Right when it went to commercial, he goes, you're fired because it killed too hard. And then he's over.
Right. They can't. It is
over.
It's a matter of will, and then you will to victory, and then when you have victory, they can't touch you. They can't,
if it bombs, then there's a bigger problem.
If it bombs, but fortunately, we're not talking about that here.
We don't talk about bombing. Yeah,
but I never heard boo about the supposed
Jim, did we have the first censorship guy? Was he like Mr. Clockworthy? Did I imagine that with a bow tie?
The very first guy who was great was a guy named Jay Otley, who had been literally a former male model, and he was like super. He looked like those guys in the 60s, like cigarette ads. He was just he's an extremely handsome man, very distinguished middle-aged guy, and nothing bothered him at all.
Oh, really? He was the censorship guy.
He was just kind of.
It didn't seem like you had one that first couple years.
I mean, I don't remember. I don't remember being told there was anything that we couldn't do. Awesome. And Jay Otley he was magnificent. I mean, everything he would just kind of, no, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Really? What was he great, there when I was there?
He's reporting to no one.
He
really.
He wasn't. He was the first. He was like he was an out gay man. He was just incredibly, just a super cool guy. He's like just, he struck me as like a Fred Astaire type, just super elegant, but had seen everything. Nothing bothered him. And then he was replaced by Bill Clotworthy.
I remember that name. I remember that name.
And Bill
had a little bow tie, and he was very stern.
Bill was sweet. a little. We had rougher sledding with Mr. Clotworthy, but he was a decent guy. I mean, he would hear your arguments. And then, Roz Wyman, she was head of standards. I remember
I remember her. Yeah.
And I remember, Dana, you remember this piece that I wrote with Tom Davis. It was the Pussy Whip talk show.
Oh yeah.
And it was,
and he wouldn't let us. Yeah. He wouldn't let us say, it was supposed to be pussy whipped. We had to end up with pee whipped. And
pee whipped, I remember.
And again, it was not because of the word pussy, like David
pussy was fine.
It was the concept of pussy whipped was offensive. And I remember Roz Wyman saying, to me, as a woman, I find this entirely offensive. And that's when I figured out, just like bastard wasn't about bastard being a dirty word. It was, by that time, it was a PC thing. By the time we were talking about the 40th anniversary. But as far as pussy whipped, it was insulting to womankind, which I didn't really. I think all women understand the concept of being pussy whipped. I don't. Totally. I don't think that was.
Clockworthy wouldn't let me say, when I first did Church Lady, she had a couple penises in there. You're a penis, that kind of sexually. He said no. So I put in more stuff. I cut penis and I put in throbbing, engorged, bulbous, low. And he got, and Clockworthy is like, well, this is terrific.
Throbbing meat
my
missile.
throbbing Satan stick, bulbous and engorged. He goes, I love this. Just don't say penis.
Wow.
Well,
it's even dirtier in a weird
way. Much dirtier, much more
Yes.
pornographic.
But I also thought you were going for the oldest trick of the book, which even the NBC standards department figured out after a while, which was you load it up with cannon fodder that you can trade away.
Oh, you get rid of stuff.
Yeah,
I did do that.
You write stuff that you don't even want, but it's there just so you have
barter.
something to
And then you kind of act like
it's like sailors. On. It's like sailors bringing trinkets to trade with the natives, And anyway.
You'll get this slinky for this 18 acres of land.
Exactly.
Well, it's like politicians. The bill's going to cost $700 trillion.
Yes.
And then you go, well, could it be 20 trillion? Well, okay. Look what I gave up.
Busted my balls, but
Which president was that, Dana? That's the only president that wasn't an opinion.
I was actually trying to do, I only do Bernie Sanders as a crosswalk guard.
Okay.
Don't proceed. Don't proceed. The system is rigged. Don't proceed. No. But I was trying to think of Bernie like that. It's $6 trillion. I'll give you $3 trillion back. What the fuck is going on? I love the way. Anyway.
Wait, by the way, when you worked with Billy Murray, you didn't have to pee in a bottle in your dressing room like some people at the show, did you?
I don't recall doing that, just for fun, I think.
Yeah. One of our cast members did during my years.
In a bottle?
Yeah. And just left a bunch of bottles in his room.
Oh, it must have been Mr. Christopher Farley.
No, it actually wasn't Farley.
Oh, it wasn't Farley?
No,
Wait a minute.
He would only shit out the window for fun.
He did wipe his butt with a USA Today once when we were, I guess it was right before read through.
We love Chris. He's the greatest.
And he doesn't even take his pants off. You know, Downey, he was, I know you loved him. He would, when he found Belushi's pants and wardrobe, you know, the wardrobe was so extensive there, and they would give him pants, and for his size, they would dig back, and he would just look in it, and it would see in there written Belushi, and he'd go,
right.
"Oh
yeah,
my God, these are fucking Belushis," and then he'd put them on, and then even if they gave him different pants, he would put them under his pants.
No kidding.
Because it was like good luck.
He was so obsessed.
Yeah, he loved Belushi.
Oh man,
obsessed with him.
The experience of giving John Belushi notes was always
okay. Now I'm
let's get to
Tell
that.
us. There we go. That's what we want to hear.
We would go in like a team, you know, and
trick him.
Frank is famously
blunt,
impervious to manners
anything.
And sensitivity and everything, and so he was always good, like shock troops, you know. To he was the bombing that happened before we came
Soften
in with the troop carriers, and then I was usually the first wave in, you know, dancing through the minefields, and Belushi be sitting there staring, you know, sort of sullenly in his dressing room, and I'd go like and then knock, you know, hey John, on this thing. You know, I mean, it's great. It's great with you and he'd instantly start in that, and it was experience. I had a friend of mine who visited the show one time, and Belushi and Danny had done the Blues Brothers as a warm up, which that's how it began. They warmed up, you know, the audiences, and then then they just, you know, decided we're going to do this big time. And anyway, at that time, that was all that Belushi really cared about, it seemed. And so he lived for nothing more than compliments about the Blues Brothers. And so my friend who was incapable of not being completely honest, however insane it was in a situation. So he was sitting with me at the party. He was a friend from high school. And I said, hey, John, the Blues Brothers, awesome. That was awesome. Once he goes, hey, thanks, man. And my friend just goes, you need to time your you need to time your singing better with Aykroyd's harmonica.
Oh boy. And +1
and Belushi's literally goes, what did you say? I said you need to time your singing better with, as though he hadn't heard it, you know, with Aykroyd's harp playing. And so he goes, there was nothing wrong with the timing of my singing with Aykroyd. Oh yeah, there was. Yeah, there was. So
wow.
It went
Who
on
are you
from there.
bringing? Yeah.
That's ballsy for
No, he
for
just
anybody.
didn't understand. He was like, he was unsocialized.
He was like, musically, if you want to get it perfect, he's like, it's working. I wouldn't worry about it. By the way, one of us is tapping the desk. Dane, is that you?
Sorry, that was me. That was me.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. It's all right. We can start over.
I would have just said to him, Lou, I love everything about that bit. The whole singing the blues part, I'm not at key. Take it away from the blues. Don't sing, but just talk about. Sorry, go ahead.
But one of the reasons Belushi and I got along probably better with Belushi than any of the other writers, because he was from Wheaton, Illinois, and I had cousins who Belushi knew who lived in Wheaton, and that was essentially it. So it was like I was like his cuz. So he would talk to me, and of course, you know, all of the writers got on great with Dan Aykroyd. So, but he was not nice to the women at the show, I have to say. And
Danny or Johnny?
John Belushi. Danny was great with everybody.
Yeah,
Danny's a sweetheart.
But what would Belushi ever like throw furniture or anything? Because he was so powerful on screen, he was such a potent character. Did he ever do stuff backstage? I mean, you just think of him as a badass pirate and barely under control, but I never met him.
There's always this menace below the surface, but I never saw both Danny and Billy, were more, I saw, get more physical. But John, I don't ever remember. But he would have this way of sort of glowering. And, but like I say, there's certain moments that were so Belushi that did you guys ever see him doing Mussolini at it was the show we did from New Orleans, where very little in that show actually worked, but all the Belushi stuff did. We had one of those balconies, there's in the French Quarter.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Lorraine Newman said it was a shit show down there.
It was crazy. It was fun to do it. And it was, I ate a lot of great restaurants and it was fun. I'd never been to New Orleans before, but the show itself we couldn't communicate with each other. We were doing it at different locations all over the city. But Belushi did this Mussolini thing where it was just pure Belushi, and it was brilliant. And with like a real like crowd below, and he just had all the moves down. And he also did. Michael O'Donoghue wrote this thing. The winner of the hit Al Hurt in the mouth of the brick contest. And I don't know if you guys
trumpet player,
Al Hurt. See, this is something you've got to be at minimum my age to know the actual reference. But Al Hurt was famous New Orleans trumpet player. And one time somebody threw a brick at him and hit him. So it's just Belushi playing trumpet, like very nervously, like watching for the bricks coming. I can't explain it.
I love it.
I invite you guys
he
to
would
check
commit
it out.
so
it was
hard.
in that show. Yeah.
Belushi would just commit like crazy.
Was he doing drugs during shows, or you just catch it? Was it more of an after?
No.
After party situation?
I don't remember that ever interfering with it. It was more when John was difficult. It was more just attitudinal things that, he did when he got into music, the show ceased to be his absolute top priority. You know?
I remember, because sometimes drugs make people moody, in quotes. And sometimes with Farley, I go, I think you're being moody right now. And I wish we could find where that's coming from. I wish we could trace it back to something. But I remember that I could imagine that John, by the way, I don't care if John did drugs during the show. I mean, the shows are funny and they stand up as like, my whole childhood is based on it. It's the fucking greatest. So I don't give a shit. But if people can do their job, I think drunk is harder to deal with when people are, you deal with people that try to perform.
Drunk can makes you slurrier and slower on.
You're not nailing shit.
Yeah, I did Robert Downey Jr. Wait a minute. Who was the guy who was the incendiary talk shows in New Jersey?
Morton Downey.
Sorry. Morton Downey Jr. was coming on Church
He is
Chat.
in no way related. Okay, go on.
No way related, and I think he's gone to the stars, but he was really in the tank. I mean, it was...
Oh, that's right. I forgot that he was on the show.
Yeah, he came on Church Chat. Yeah.
He was like a Jerry Springer for the audience. He was like one of the first like really incendiary fucking hosts that got everyone riled up.
But drunk and sketch comedy, that's tough. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I'm not saying they're... Yeah, well, you guys would know better than I, but I would think that it would be impossible if you're alone in front of an audience to be drunk. You'd have to have a very weird kind of act, to me.
No, I've definitely, I've had a few cordials before I go on stage sometime.
Really?
Jim, it's just the pressures of life. And so you get it. So I go in there.
I saw the documentary.
Have a few on me.
You have a lot of heartache to swallow.
The Dark Side of Bye-Bye. Did you see that?
That's the one.
So I'd have a few knocks, as my dad would say. And then, but sometimes you're off your game a little bit. You're right. There's a fine line between, hey, I'm feeling good. And then like, fuck, what joke is next? I don't even remember. I'm in the middle of a joke. I don't know what's going on. So, but I have a question for you, Jim. But we all love Norm. And this OJ situation on Update, that people have asked me, Was Norm leaving? Was it a direct result? Because I think you were writing for Update with him, right?
He was kind of the producer and co-writer with Norm.
Yeah, you guys were like locked in a room doing it. That was all you guys.
Yeah, Norm on Update was one of my successful projects at the show. Was one that it was entirely he was my candidate in a very crowded field, because the network had determined that they were not going to give Kevin another chance. I personally thought Kevin Nealon had been doing Update from the time Dennis left. And I personally, Neil Nisi Bonham about, the dead, but Herb Sargent was not doing Kevin any favors the way he was running Update. And it was hard to sort of to get help to Kevin, because
it had to go through Herb.
It had to go through Herb, and Herb was sort of like ran interference and wouldn't notes get through and everything. So
he didn't love my Update pieces either.
I felt like the second week I met Norm that he would be a perfect guy if Kevin, left the show or anything. And so when the network announced, it was Ohlmeyer going, no, Nealon's out. He's dead. He's gone. Forget about it. Not happening. So that started this thing where there were several different candidates, but Norm was my guy. And it's sort of, he wasn't initially the favorite, but he sort of survived. And so as far as the OJ stuff is concerned, that, if you remember, the murders by persons as yet unknown happened in June of 1994, which is when we were having this meeting out in LA, which, by the way, ended. I was summoned out for the first time to have a notes meeting with, as head writer / producer of the show. And Lauren and I were out there at the NBC headquarters, and it was Don Ohlmeyer and Rick Ludwin and Warren Littlefield. I think Bernie Brillstein was in the meeting, I'm pretty sure. And so they were, and Ohlmeyer, they were very unhappy with the show because the ratings had dropped. And I thought we were on like a sugar high the year before that, in 92, 93, from the Wayne's World movie, that so was bound to come down.
Campaign.
We had the debates and stuff. And so the ratings dropped, albeit to a rating number that they would die for today.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they were giving us their notes on what they didn't like and everything. And I had gone there. My marriage was falling apart because of the time at the show and stuff. And so I was sort of feeling like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. So my attitude was, I'm not going to do anything to save my job. I'm not going to beg or plead or agree to I'm going to just tell them what I think. And if they don't like it, it's just as 6-1 to me if I get fired or not. And in the end, that sort of backfired, because I heard later, like, Ohlmeyer was impressed by your moxie. He did, which is not the intention. But anyway, so they were talking about Update, and they just said, and Kevin had to go. I would never have I loved Kevin Neal, still love him.
He was
unreal. He was a great favorite with the writers. Yeah.
And you could have helped Kevin.
I could have. I thought if they had been willing to keep Kevin, but get rid of Herb, I think that we could have turned that thing around. But anyway, that was not the option available. So anyway, but the meeting ended only because visiting hours were starting at LA County, and Ohlmeyer had to go visit OJ.
Wow.
That's why that meeting ended finally, mercifully. And so then when the fall came, there's a whole other story with how Norm came to be the guy, but Norm is doing Update. And I told him at the beginning, I said, look, I don't mean anything, nothing about her, but attempts have been made in the past to help people doing Update, and that her blocked all efforts because he got, was threatened and territorial and everything. And so I told Norm, like, look, we're not going to fuck around. We're not going to let Herb do to you what he did to Kevin. And so you can have your Herb meeting, but you got to have a later one with me, because I'm not fucking around this time. It's too important. And Norm said, yeah, that sounds great. So what would happen is we first of all opened the piece up for the first time to lots and lots of writers. So you suddenly got a lot more writers contributing. Yeah. And then we would just overrule decisions that Herb made I never even had a conversation with Herb about it. It was just, so to answer your original question, the way Norm came to be fired was we just did the OJ jokes because they were funny. It wasn't, none of us had a hard on for OJ or anything, but it was.
He was in the news every fucking day too. Like you can't avoid it.
Yeah. And so luckily the timing couldn't have been better. The trial opened just before we went on the air. And then the very next year, the fall of 95, the openings, the week of the first show, the verdict came back. And so, but anyway, he just, every week I would hear occasionally from Lauren, and I knew it was Ohlmeyer calling him to complain, but it was Lauren would go like, how is it that you and Norm seem to be the only people absolutely convinced of OJ's guilt? And I would go like, Lauren, come on. I think it's hurting us with black audience. And I said, first of all, we have no black audience.
The glove was very small.
And second, I think it could only help us because black people know that OJ did it. Come on. And so anyway, finally, we did the first season of Update, which was 94, 95. That was the trial. The second season, 95, 96 of Norm's Update, that was the aftermath of the trial and the civil trial, right? And then we threw in the 96, 97, the third season, just for shits and grins. We continued to do it. So I'm sure we did an OJ joke, at least one OJ joke every
show, yeah.
From 94, 95, and 96. And then finally, the fall of 97, that was Norm's fourth season and the season we were fired. Fall 97.
Package deal.
There was nothing to do. There was nothing to do about OJ. It would have felt like
you feel it's overkill.
Well, no, that part we liked. We liked the overkill. We always said,
of course.
In fact, I heard this quote much later, but I wish I'd known it. Joseph Stalin, comedy people don't normally quote, but Joseph Stalin said, "Quantity has a quality all its own."
Well, that was like the David Hasselhoff jokes too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we love, and let me just finish. So we opened that season, the fall 97, right? Spring 98. We didn't do any OJ jokes. We didn't do any OJ jokes for the first 8 shows. Wow. And then the Christmas, it was a long stretch of it was like the bombardment has stopped. And then suddenly I think they stopped. They have stopped. It's peace in the valley. And then on the 8th show, we did 2 OJ jokes because there was the one thing about Latrell Sprewell. Remember, he was playing for the Knicks and he went nuts in a practice.
He choked the coach.
PJ Carlissimo.
Choked. Yeah.
So we did a joke about Johnny, and he hired Johnny Cochran as his attorney. And so we did a joke about it, and Cochran has vowed to find the real choker. And then there was OJ. If you remember this one, OJ was in a restaurant in Brentwood, and his presence was bothering some of the other patrons. So the manager of the restaurant said, Mr. Simpson, some of our customers have they're concerned, and we were wondering if you wouldn't mind leaving. And so OJ sued the restaurant, but got something like $300, like a free dinner or something. So we did. Our joke was, in addition, the restaurant must now set up individual or separate murderer and non-murderer sections.
I know.
And so OJ. So anyway, so we did that. That was the Saturday show. A couple of days later, I'm in New Canaan visiting my little son. And the first thing I see is the sound was off on the TV and he's sitting in his high chair. And he was 2 years old, I guess. And so he looks up at the thing and there's Chris Farley but with the sound off, I didn't know exactly what it was. He starts laughing hysterically just at the sight of Chris Farley. And then the phone rings, and it's Mike Shoemaker from the show, who's a producer at the show. And he says, a couple things. Chris Farley's dead, and you and Norm were fired.
Whoa.
And so apparently, and later, guess what? It was like 3 years later, Norm told me, and he had never said this to me, because if it were positions were reversed, I would have said it right away. He said, they told me like it wasn't, that they were only firing you, that I was welcome to stay. And I said, I won't do it without Downey. And so they said, okay, motherfucker, be our guest. So that's how Norm came to be fired. He went out of solidarity with me. So
well, I think it's probably smart because you made it. You guys together were really good. It probably would have. He would have been.
He's
great, but you're a great writer.
Did Norm ever bring a joke to you or an idea that even you thought maybe went too far? Because he
Norm
really. Norm, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's actually
because he really would push the envelope,
There was with Norm, even with me, like I'd occasionally, and you guys knew.
Yeah, I know. You would tell me in Hollywood Minute, you'd say, I dare you to do that. And I'm like, I can't. I don't want to. I got scared, but you're like, you're such a pussy. And I'm like, God damn.
That Hollywood
But when you were dealing with Norm, he would occasionally he would be in his Canadian geezer mode, and you couldn't get him out of it. He would just have to ride it out. You just have to go, okay, he's going to be doing I'm sorry, I don't quite.
Oh, that right.
I hear you, but I don't understand you, and that kind of thing. And so you'd have to go, okay, Norm, when you're ready to talk as Norm Macdonald, I'm here, And but anyway, so sometimes he would come in with things where he was clearly joking and I would never take the bait. But one time he had this joke, which there's not a lot of jokes that offend me. They certainly don't offend me in the conventional ways, but they often offend me. It's just, I think they're just terrible jokes. But this one kind of did in a way in that sense. But he had this joke where it was, Woody Allen is dating again. And it was the image of the naked Vietnamese girl running down the road after the napalm attack.
That old photo, that
famous old photo. And so my only reaction to that was like, Norm, come on, seriously, you can't. And he goes, no, come on, it's funny.
It's funny.
I go, Norm, no, it's no. And then to this day, I don't know. And I go, Norm, please, if you do that joke in front of an audience, you're going to take down
the rest of the show.
The next 3 shows will be
Rockefeller Center.
You cannot do that. You can't. I mean, it'll take the temperature in the studio down 30 degrees. There'll be like ice on people's, beards and stuff. You can't do that.
Rioting.
No, come on, it's funny. So he and Frank was backing him on it. Frank Sebastiano, one of the best update writer ever, and he
loves it.
And Frank was not, I would look over at Frank, and Frank was not, he wasn't like winking or anything. And so I go, okay. So we tried it at dress, and it had precisely the effect I thought it would, although who knows about future shows. But anyway, it was like this, this collective giant gasp. And then, so after that, Norm was willing to give it up. And then we didn't do it on air, obviously, but years later, so that was I'm going to say that was maybe 1996. So at least 10 years later, Steve Higgins, who's current producer of the show, comes up to me and says, do you ever remember, and we're looking for a sound effect of an audience being horrified, offended. And I go, I got it. So I said, I directed them to that update. And I said, I'm pretty sure if you take that thing, the other thing is it will be uncorrupted by any laughter. So you'll get a nice clean take of gasping and horror. And so they I didn't remember which show it was from. So they had to plow through a lot of dress rehearsals, I guess. But a few hours later, Higgins said, oh my God, we got it. And it is everything you said. So they use it. And to this day, I'm pretty sure they have it on a cart. So whenever they need the sound effect of something, not just not getting a response, but getting kind of active hate, Yeah. It was that moment. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some in real life, even his act, we do stand up on the road and, you're always telling rougher stuff to each other, but he was way ballsier than someone like me as far as I do stuff that kind of rubs people wrong sometimes, but his could really, he would
but
pride
I always
himself.
appreciated that. I know what you're talking about, Dave, and I know the stuff of yours that you're referring to, but I always loved it.
Yeah, well, I
would have done it. You just didn't have the balls.
I did not. But when we would do the show, Dana, I think you'll know because you can ask him about the Bush stuff. But when we would do any sketch, I don't think performers in general, you were saying about Belushi, love notes. And if you think you're any good, which I think we all think we're pretty good on the show, at least at some level, insecure, but we think we have something. It's hard to take notes from people. But at SNL, it wasn't hard because when I got to a rewrite table and I was going to get the help of everyone, you couldn't look around there and it was like the dirty dozen of great people going, I'm going to get a free joke from Conan. I'm going to get one from Downey. I'm going to get one from Schneider, who does good jokes. I get Jack Handy will throw one in, Smigel. Yeah. It's unreal. So, and Downey was the king of that. So if you can get Downey's attention for a few minutes at 3 a.m, then you're going to it's going to be better no matter what.
That goes back to Downey being a head writer and having everyone wanting to get his ear, to get that line or get that approval or get a different take on what you're doing.
Angle.
And that's exhausting, right, Jim? Just little knocks.
It was. I will say this, and it's a shame that that when I worked with you guys, I didn't. I mean, it was all. In retrospect, not that I'm for any help I may have given you guys. I love hearing that. And
we're going to get into how much
warms my heart, but but I realized I was much happier my first 4 years at the show, and when I returned to the show after my second firing, I returned to the show in 2000. And at that point, when I came back, I said, "Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to be just a regular sketch writer. I am not going to be responsible. I'm not going to be the reason someone's piece got on or didn't get on. I'm not going to be, if someone comes to me as a friend, one-to-one, one-on-one, just, do you have any thoughts on this? I'm happy to, but I'm not going to consider it my job. And I'm going to stay completely out of all office politics and write from home, which was important, so I don't have to stay up all night." And I got to say, I was much happier during my first 4 years at the show and my last, whatever that was, 2000 to 2012, like another 12 years. But that middle section where I knew both you guys, when I was head writer / producer, which was sort of like, it's like being a player coach, and it's kind of tough,
It's tough, yeah.
But I mean, I did, and it really takes a lot of time away from writing my own stuff, which my ego is in writing, so that anything where I felt like I didn't have the space to sort of go off on my own and come up with something, so I know that I got some junk baskets, as we would call them, just someone was really right there with it. And I just was able to come up with the best way of phrasing it or something.
Specific example of something you elevated a bit that was really very silly. It was me doing George Michael on Update. And I had all the get up on, and it was all about, look at my butt. And it was like, my butt has magical powers. And we were doing these things about magical powers. And then you came up with the line, if you put a wilted flower near my bottom, it blooms.
Okay, that sounds... That's
just a little bit an assist that took it to another level.
Oh yeah,
David?
Schneider would be sleeping outside your office, and you crack the door to go get a cup of coffee. All right, help me with copy machine. And it was tough because we'd wait outside there. We'd usually go to dinner at like that Mexican restaurant. We'd walk down, or we'd
Jose sent me.
Oh yeah, or we go to Wally and Joseph's or whatever, and then we'd come back, and then everyone's stalling to write, and I'm like, oh, and then by the time I get notes that maybe this is something I shouldn't write, it was 2:30, and I'm like, wait, this is all I have. So I'd go try to jump on something else and help out, but
can we
go ahead, Dan.
I just thought we should give Jim one of your talents is political comedy, and so we had the campaign. This is in the late 80s. So we had Dukakis, the Democrat nominee for president, versus the guy I ended up doing, Bush Sr. And there was a really great line in their debate. I didn't have a good Bush at that point, but Lovitz had that line that just it's a memorable line. Yeah, do you remember it?
Well, no, I was going to say, you didn't. I thought your Bush was great. I mean, and it
got better.
It got wilder over time.
Well, we should talk about that too, because you, me, and Al, and especially you, rhythmically kept extending it. And I was doing lazy syntax, that guy over there doing that thing. And then eventually it came to, and I remember specifically Jim saying this to me, it's going to be na-ga-da.
Yeah, na-ga-da.
And how was that spelled on the cue card?
Oh, yeah, that's where we...
G-A-D-A.
Yeah.
Na-ga-da. So we did extend the rhythms, which... the audience went with us, But the line that, I don't know who wrote that line when I, as Bush, was going all over the place, that guy down there doing that thing going for like a minute. And then Lovitz, as Dukakis says, I can't believe I'm losing to this guy. That sounded like you, but
that was
maybe
Franken.
It was Franken.
That was Franken, I'm pretty sure.
But it was a great line.
Yeah. And it was the idea was it was supposed to work both ways, that it was like a commentary on Bush, but it was also a commentary on Dukakis's his confidence. He was unshakable.
Yeah.
He always acted like he just kicked ass.
But sometimes when I would do George Bush Sr., I would think I was going to be in trouble after I finished, because I would go so out there with it. I'd be like that thing guy over there moving in the Saddam Hussein one.
That was you. Once you established it, it was just you. If you looked at maybe the first time you did George Bush and one of the last times you did Bush,
it got very out there
with the leap, and people would go, I had no idea there, how much it had evolved, but that was just you having more and more fun and over time, and people who'd been watching the show certainly had no idea, that you were just leading them along.
Can I tell you one thing that happened that would relate to this, which was, I don't know if this has happened to you, Jim, or David, but I was doing Vegas with Lovitz, and he went to a party, and he ran into Gene Kelly's widow. This like 4 years ago.
Wow.
And she said, Gene Kelly's widow, and she said, tell Dana, because John's telling me, that Gene loved his George Bush Sr. Every time he was on, Gene Kelly would say, quiet, everybody, Dana's on, And so that kind of blows my mind, that kind of stuff.
See, that stuff's fantastic. Right. I mean, when you get feedback back, God, I got to be honest with you, I guess I'm learning that Gene Kelly was alive into the 90s.
Late 80s, early 90s. But I had the superstar team, because you and Al are different flavors of writer. Yeah. And that having both of you and me in the center, and the three of us really created this thing that got huge. So anyway.
Well, we were always able, like the thing about our openings, which I don't know if your audience knows, that we call them cold openings because you come right up on them without any warning.
First thing.
And the idea is the studio is usually so clogged with sets, because we burn a lot of sketches that are dropped after dress rehearsal, still require sets and take up space and everything. So the ideal cold opening has to be something really simple, easy to do. And so that's why over the history of the show, there've been a lot of Oval Office, whoever is president at the time, delivering a message straight to camera, because it's something you can write on a Friday night so that it can be super topical.
You don't have to build much either. Just a chair back. And it's usually at home base where they do the monologue, correct?
Yep. Okay. And so it makes it, and like when Dana was doing Bush, it was just something that you could be, I mean, we didn't have to worry about Dana. So it was just like we'd figure out whatever the idea was going to be, if we could think of one at all. But a lot of times, Dana, send you out there with not a lot in terms of the script. And we just relied on you the red light goes on and you're going to bush it up and, you know, and we're going to have something.
Well, sometimes I'd come in Saturday morning or at noon, and then I would hear we're doing a bush tonight. Yeah. You know, sometimes it's Friday night, but sometimes Saturday morning. Okay, and then you and I guess we're.
But we would often have to. There weren't a whole lot of them, in fairness, that you got by Wednesday, or that we were able to do by Wednesday. A lot of them, they tended to be a Friday night thing. I remember one that was planned was remains one of my favorite Bush pieces. It was the if you guys remember back, he was accused of, because of the Willie Horton ads and stuff, of doing a lot of negative campaigning against Dukakis. Mm-hmm. So the joke was he had won the election. You know, he was president-elect, but they still had plenty of money left over. So they decided to do one more negative ad, you know. And so it was the last negative ad. It was like a kind of and it was you sitting with your grandkids, like eating popcorn, sort of screening the negative ad. Anyway, but I just remember that as one that stood out because I know we had done that for read through. And I remember you were like, really? It's at read through, you know?
It's that early.
That stunned me.
Also, when I left by then, so did Dana, but were you around? I think I read that you said Obama was very tough to do because no hooks. And I think that is true. Dana sort of does one now. It's pretty good. But I think at the time, very dicey territory.
Well, part of the thing I discovered with Obama, I mean, I would have said, if I did say that, I'd probably change my mind pretty quickly because he definitely, I mean, I know Dana does a great Obama, and I've seen other people do really, I mean, so he's a lot easier to do than say a Biden, which I consider like really close to 10 out of 10 in difficulty. Not. You don't think that? Well, Dana,
it's easy. Come on.
I know, Dana. I love your Biden.
Come on. I'm not kidding around.
I'm saying you can't. I'm just saying the degree
it's difficult.
Of difficulty
is
an extreme. That's much harder than Obama, no? Don't you agree?
Yes. Obama, I only had two hooks. One was he worked his pauses so brilliantly.
Yeah.
We're going to do some things for the American people.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3.
To do.
Because that's what we got to do. And the people go there and they got to do. And then the other one he did was politically, which was funny, and they all do it to a point. I know Biden does is try to talk things into reality. You know, so during Russia's taking over Crimea, that's not they ought not be doing that. That's not conducive. Tanks are rolling in. That's not conducive to international relations. That's not a good thing. Shouldn't be doing that. No.
See, that's a great Obama. I'm just saying that my only point was that Obama, I initially thought like, he's going to be tough. I guess maybe if I had expressed it better, I would have said there's a factor of people liked Obama so much more than they liked any of the other people we're talking about. And also Obama is a genuinely cool guy. I mean, it gets in the way of writing about because he actually is really funny.
It's hard to make him look like an idiot. He's not an idiot.
He's the funniest president. If you have seen him like at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, things like that, he's actually really funny.
He destroyed Trump, and then Trump ran because of that. Roasting of Trump.
But but the audience I've discovered doesn't really like if they think you're making fun of Obama. Mm-hmm. They start sitting back with their arms across their chest going,
tighten up a bit.
Think again,
like we had talked about briefly, just that idea of teaching or something that's overtly has a political point of view and then doing something that has using the word silly, like I would do to break it with the audience for me so they'd be comfortable. I would do him doing nursery rhymes.
Yes.
And I would couch it as if no matter what Obama says, you can't not listen. Jack and Jill went up the hill. To fetch a pail of water. Jack came down. Jill fell down.
That is a great insight because yes, an audience will be
more
perfectly
harmless.
Perfect. But it's when they feel that you're criticizing him in some way, even when you're
Trump?
not.
Right.
See, Trump, I missed the entire Trump thing because I left the show in the spring of the May 2013 was my last show, and I was never there.
Is there a coyote in your house?
There's
that's a little doggy.
Oh,
we'll just have to ride it out. It's
part of the charm
dog.
factor. It's a charm factor.
I thought he'd say something like, "I'll make it stop."
That dog's got to go. That dog's got to go.
I'm afraid I can't do anything about. The dog will stop barking in a second after the danger is past. But
the dog didn't like my Obama impression. That was the problem.
No,
the dog is offended by my Obama.
Tulip is a fan of both your work. It's not. I didn't name the dog.
So go ahead. You weren't there during Trump.
You weren't there for. You mean for the Baldwin Trump?
I wasn't there for the Baldwin Trump. I mean, the way they see Trump was the exact opposite of the way the show treated Obama. I mean, the show was absolutely, everyone there was a huge Obama fan. So there was not going to be anything really critical of Obama. You could put him in certain situations where he got to be funny, sort of shitting on Republicans, or else if it was, there were certain things. I wrote a thing with Seth Meyers where there was Obama meeting with the premier of China, and the Chinese premier was just busting in on "you owe us money," So it was the translator. So it was Will Forte, who was fucking brilliant in that piece. God, I love Will Forte.
Yeah, we love him.
He did this.
Crazy fun.
He did. I can't think of the was it the same premier? Anyway. At the Chinese premiere, and Nassim Pedrad was the translator. And you guys probably know that I love to write pieces where someone's translating for someone else. It's sort of been a thing of mine ever since the Spanish game show back in 1978. And anyway, so it was Nassim Pedrad's doing the translating, and the guy would speak in Chinese, and it'd be like, "When are we getting our money?" And then Obama would and it's like, and then the premier would speak, and she would translate like, does the premier look like Mrs. Obama? Does it? And you go, what? You go, does the premier look like Mrs. Obama? Then why are you trying to do sex to him? So it was all kind of, we want our money, and anyway, so that we were able to do because we weren't able, we didn't play as like we were critical of Obama. But the last piece, the last political piece I ever wrote, I came back, it was an idea I had in like the summer of it was before Trump, so it must have been like 2014. I had an idea, and I called up Lauren and said, "Hey, can I turn in I had an idea for cold opening," and it was Obama talking about ISIS, and this is when Obama had been, in all of his speeches, he kept saying "Now there is no connection between ISIS and the religion of Islam. That's not a thing I would ever say. There's no connection," and so. It was the idea, the premise was Obama addressing the nation, saying that he'd been doing some thinking, and he realized there's a huge connection between ISIS and Islam. And if you think about it, I mean, there's
one on the side.
There's the whole thing with the, with the Allahu Akbar. I hadn't thought about that at the time, but that's pro. And so anyway, it played. And so I remembered, it was very popular with, Frank and other people I showed it to. And we did it. And I remember showing it to a friend of mine, Lawrence O'Donnell, who has the Lawrence on MSNBC. He was a college roommate of mine. And I showed it to him, and he says, "I think they're going to think you're making fun of Obama." I said, "But no, it's silly. It's silly. It's more, it's more making fun of sticking to that idea that because it was kind of silly to keep insisting absolutely that, ISIS has nothing to do, nothing at all, I tell you." And so, and he was right. It played to absolute silence.
Wow.
And kind of surprised people at the show. Cause I got to say, I mean, I don't know, I might not be the best judge of it, but I thought it was pretty funny. He had some good jokes, and I don't remember those jokes, so I would share them with you, but it played to absolute silence. And so I realized that's a bit of a third rail. If you're going to do Obama, you have to. But I remember pitching. When he came to the show when he was a candidate, and we were in a long line in the hallway because the Secret Service, they wanted, space to be able to. They sort of blocked off the hallway, and we're like lined up, shaking his hand. It was like a receiving line. And I remember he's going along sort of, a word with each guy. And then I say like, I grew up in Joliet, and he starts like an arrow hitting a thing and quivering, he just stops dead and then gave me like 3 or 4 minutes. Right. Ooh. Because, and he was showing off his knowledge of Joliet, which is impressive, I have to say.
Really?
So have you been, I was down at 6 Corners on Larkin. I go, yeah. And anyway, so upstairs later, he was going to do something on the show, and I'd written something for him. And I know this would be more effective as a story if I remembered exactly what it was, and I watched him laugh as he read it. He was chuckling to himself and then just said, of course, I can't do this. Right. And I said, well, I was afraid you might think that. So for our next podcast, I will dig up that thing. Please. I know I didn't throw it away, but there was something about Obama was a guy who you knew he's basically a funny guy, so you can at least pitch stuff to him. But like when McCain did the show, there was
friends. You gave him the Obama bit. McCain, try to get it on.
McCain, no, but McCain had this thing where, and people have sort of forgotten this aspect of his career, but he was like a scourge of wasteful government spending. So, David, you would know this from Arizona, seeing ads and stuff. He would, but he was always talking about my friends. This makes no sense at all. And anyway, so I had this thing where he was just complaining about wasteful spending. And one of the jokes, almost my favorite joke in the piece was, and what about this, my friends? A government program that warns convicted child molesters when a 10-year-old boy moves into their neighborhood. What is the point? I mean, I don't understand. $40 million for this program. And it's not even the money. It's not even the money. I would be against it if it were free. But $40 million. And so
my friends.
And he goes, no, this is funny. I don't know about every joke in it. And so like 10 minutes later, like this terrified aide comes up to me and goes, this thing about the child molester, I mean, that's not in the piece, right? I mean, that's not going to be in the piece. And I go, well, yeah, I mean, he didn't object. He goes, no, that's not in the piece. And then the same guy would appear like every like half an hour to go like, that's still not in the piece, right? It's right. That's not in the piece. Anyway.
Well, I find that
of course,
everyone
by the way,
thought Trump
I went to Cards and put it in the piece.
I didn't. You went rogue again?
Don't you think? I mean, maybe we should finish with this because you also, I find people laugh at Republicans more easily. Like I would do George W. Bush in Texas. They'd go crazy. Trump supporters, hardcore supporters, laughing their ass off at Trump. But you and Will Ferrell and Daryl Hammond, hooked up for that debate stuff. And you came up, of course, famously with a word that sort of defined George W. Bush in the year 2000.
Strategery.
So what?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, that was, sorry.
And Farrell's great anyway.
That was great. I had to take it further in my stand-up act because you guys were writing so funny. I just finally went to the nth degree with W, like, God bless all Americans. We're going to protect freedom here at home and on abroad. Irridiculous of race, Creedence Clearwater, or colored balloons. I just had to go insane, but Will own that, and he was brilliant at it. And so was Daryl's gore was great.
Yeah, Daryl.
Daryl's
that
great.
Was a case with Daryl's gore was a real. Daryl's very serious about especially his political impressions, and he breaks them down to like the little phonemes and and it'll say like, I've seen this. I noticed this thing where Gore does kind of a thing when he's saying yellow or something, and like these really like they're like 10 decimal place kind of observations, you know. And then I would come at him with a more like a wide scale kind of wide focus kind of thing, like, or wide angle maybe is what I'm searching for. But like I remember I had noticed that the way Gore had that rhythm where it go, Jim, in my plan, but in his plan, and they had that kind of. And I remember working with him was like me working from one end of the continuum and him from the other, and meeting in the middle. And I was really, it wasn't. I mean, I did, have a lot to do with his impression. I loved writing for that character. And in a way, I would have probably had more fun in a way if he had been elected, just because it was, I always thought Gore was inherently interesting and weird.
Well, he was a Tennessee gentleman is the way I look at it, because I would do it for my wife, and I'm just doing this. And she goes, and she thinks it's so exaggerated. It's like, well, I take umbrage, kind madam. He's a Tennessee gentleman. And that was kind of my key into it.
No, and that is exactly right. But I mean, it should be a little exaggerated. I mean, you have a right to, you identify that kind of sibilant thing, then you have every right to accentuate it.
Take it further. This planet is getting hot. I shit you not. That's my anyway. Sorry.
Okay, Jim.
Sorry
my last two.
David
things.
has his final question.
No,
wait
I
a
got
minute.
the two-parter.
Why are we wrapping this up? This is going great.
It's going great.
Really
it's going to be a two-parter, so you get extra. One is, I was trying to look over all the great ones you'd written or had a hand in, but Chippendales is one of the all-time. Change Bank, Chippendale. There's so many that you were there, that we were there
Tell
for.
the Chippendales story, or because that was that's a top 10 for a lot of people.
This absolutely ties into David Spade. So I hope I'm right about this, and I should ask David. My memory is that you arrived for the fall of 90, spring of 91 season. Yes or no?
Yes and no. I did 4 shows with Rob at the end of the year with Dice Clay, Candice Bergen.
So 89.
Alec Baldwin. Yeah. Then I came back and Farley and Rock joined. And that was our first official year.
So that's
it was 91 or something. And then
because I had been talking to our friend Robert Smigel, and he had looked it up and said no, David arrived after Farley. And I said, no, I remember him. I thought, so I
walked over with him. Yeah.
I had been convinced by Robert. I love Robert, but when it comes to dates, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He had been convinced that you had come after Farley. So that kind of does queer this story a little bit, but I know that I've said this to Dana, that I one time made the mistake when I didn't get my first computer until
this week.
Well, no, 2013 was the first time I ever used a computer, and I had been given an absolute state-of-the-art MacBook Pro by Lauren as a present in 2004. And it didn't come out of the shrink wrap until for 9 years. And so by which time it was no longer state of the art. But so the first time I had done a different interview for a different project, it was for this book, Poking a Dead Frog. It was an interviews with comedy writers. And anyway, so I wanted to see something about the book. So I Googled it, and then I see my name, and I sort of click on that, and my name was mentioned in a nasty review where the guy especially went after me. And that was, the experience was so upsetting that I vowed I will never again click on anything I might see in my, and even someone like me, I'm nothing like you guys, but I have a Wikipedia page. And so I've never looked at it because to me, it's like Medusa, I dare not look at it. So I occasionally will ask my son to, would you check my Wikipedia page, see if there's anything I need to worry about? Mostly it's just inaccuracies, but occasionally there's been stuff that definitely is problematic. But so anyway, I extended this for the most part to anything on YouTube. Although if it's a piece that I wrote, I'm willing to look at that piece now and again, but they only recently put the Chippendales piece up on YouTube. It hadn't been up there for a long time, I'm pretty sure. And I was looking at like Ricky Gervais or something. I wasn't even looking at a Saturday Night Live thing. And then I see in the right-hand column, all the suggestions, and there's Chippendales. I go, holy shit, I haven't looked at this since it aired.
It does probably. That on Pornhub too.
So this was like it was from 1990. So that's going to be like 20 years at least. So I look at the piece, and these pieces never, that's one of the reasons I don't look at them much, is because they're never as good as you might remember them. And sometimes much worse than that. But it was, in this case, it was the comments, and the comments were like better than 90% savage.
They really?
They hated it. No. They fucking hated it. And all of it was about how cruel, how awful, how evil, and you guys have to back me up on this. Sometimes it was all we could do to get Farley to keep his clothes on.
What do you say? Break that down.
At a rewrite meeting. Okay, so but anyway, their point was
he would just run in nude.
What goes through the mind of a writer to think it's funny? It's funny to make poor Chris Farley take his clothes off for this sketch. It's just humiliating someone over something he can't help. And so, and the only reason I would have done the thing is because Farley was he loved doing that for comedy.
Naked,
he loved getting it anyway. So, but David, here's where you come into the story.
Finally.
So I'm reading like comment after comment, because I kept reading because I'm hoping it's going to turn around, in the flow, and that someone's going to, hey, let me stick up for the piece. Didn't happen. And so I get to like comment 14, and then there's this guy who comes in and is like, okay, you guys want the story?
Yeah.
I got the story. So here's the story. I happen to know some people who shared it with me. David Spade was walking down the hall at Saturday Night Live, and he hears sobbing coming from Chris Farley's office.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in and goes, Chris, what's the matter? And Farley's at his desk, just crying his eyes out. And David goes, Chris, is something wrong? What's happened? And
is your spaghetti not here yet?
Farley through his tears is saying like, they want me to do this piece, and it's so humiliating, and I just don't want to do it, but I'm terrified I'll be fired if I don't do the piece. And David says, what piece do they talk? What is this? Because they want me to be naked in this Chippendale male stripper piece. And of course, the person obviously doesn't know that you would be fully aware of the piece, right? Because having been at read-through.
Yeah.
So anyway, according to the story, you read the script just aghast.
Yeah.
And as you're going through a page, oh my God.
Every page it got worse.
I know. So then you said, Chris, stay right here. You marched down to Lauren's office and said, if you air that piece, I quit.
Wow.
You can have my job. It's not worth it. If you're going to do this kind of thing to my friend Chris Farley. And people are going, oh my God, that's so great. It's like Spade seems like a great guy.
Yeah. I walk back and they go, I go, hey, Lauren doesn't want to talk to me. So I guess you're going to have to do it. I have no juice here.
in the fall of 1990, that might have been the response.
Yeah.
But,
is any of that true, David? Is any of that true?
Is that true?
Did you go to Lauren's office?
No, I know that. Okay. I know that Chris loved that sketch, and I was standing very close watching it. Going, I knew it was like a 10 out of 10. I didn't know that it would have the impact for years and years of like one of the best ever. And he was so pumped. It was pretty early on where it solidified him as like such a star.
Swayze, yeah.
There's no way, the way he leaned into it, threw himself into that piece, that if there had been any, believe me, I never would do a piece where I felt like I was asking some person to be humiliated. But Farley just said, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do it. I'm not. He loved doing it. And one thing is, I really think that's what sort of bonded him with the audience. That was his fourth show.
That he didn't care. Oh, it was his fourth show. See, I knew it. It was early. It was early on, and it was like, anyway, whoa.
The reason I started by asking you, David, if you remembered precisely when you came, was because I was talking to Robert Smigel this past summer, I suppose, and I mentioned this experience of like, man, I made the mistake maybe it wasn't a mistake, but I read the comments on Chippendales, and whoa, boy, it was like better than 9-1 against. It was like, I have very few friends on that comment thread, and so, and he goes, well, let me check. So he's tapping something out on his computer. He goes like, okay, David Spade didn't even start at the show until like, it was another 3 shows after Chippendales, after Swayze. Are you serious? Really? And he goes, yeah, that'll next time you read a comment, but of course, as it turns out, Robert was wrong.
Well, Jim, another side story is when I went to rewrite, or the Tuesday night the host gets trotted around and we get to talk to him, all the writers. So he was in the writer's room by himself, and I was coming down the hallway, and it was like midnight, and there was a PR person, and I said, hey, and I start to go, and she goes, hi, can I help you? And I go, oh, I just want to talk to Patrick. And she goes, and you are? And I go, David Spade. She goes, and what is this regarding? And I go, I'm just a writer. I just want to, and she goes, oh, he's so crazy right now.
Wait a minute.
And I go, he's just reading People magazine. I can see him. And she goes, yeah, it's a little nuts right now. If you can come back later. And that's how I started Receptionist.
Are you telling me that was the genesis of that?
Mm-hmm. And that was Swayze's show, which was, I didn't write it that week.
I wish you'd have told me that story.
The Receptionist, David Spade's one.
I know you've been hogging this podcast the whole time, but this one.
David, you've had so many years to tell me that.
I know. Okay. No, isn't that funny that's how I knew for sure I was there.
Hysterical.
And but Farley, just to put it to bed, loved that sketch, crushed in it, heard about it forever. Patrick Swayze was great in it. Nealon was funny. I mean, I think was it Nealon and Jan Hooks? Didn't you write when it was like Adrian, Barney, and then yes. And then Barney keeps making faces and like Barney, it's over. It's over. Okay, yeah. Like he's still trying to win.
Barney, our decision's fine.
yeah.
But no, the by the way, let me just say, not only was the impetus or the impulse to do that piece, it was because Patrick Swayze was the host. And you look at Swayze and you go, come on, Chippendales dancer, right?
It's a perfect written thing for a host too.
Yeah. The idea was that I was sitting there going like, how can I exploit Farley's overweightness? And how can I get that on the air?
How can we put a sketch around it? A humiliation. Exactly. Start with humiliation.
So,
I think I did one that was worse with Chris.
What was that?
But it never blew up like this one because Chris was game for anything.
Was it the
David
spaceship?
Knows him better than anybody. But I don't remember the exact. But I remember I was Ross Perot. Chris was in it. Maybe Franken wrote it. But by the end, I'm writing Chris. He's kind of, and I'm going, I'm going to ride you, piggy boy. Come on now, piggy boy. Here's it, So that one,
you
Chris
should be canceled.
I was even asking Chris, is this okay? And he was just laughing his ass off.
He doesn't care about anything. All right, Jim, before we go, and I know you got a million things to do, but this last thing is from me and Dana. We both know that for the people that don't realize how much you've done on the show, Dennis Miller actually said you were the second most important person in the history of SNL behind Lorne, and I thought that was great until he said I was the third. Yeah. So he's
the second most important guy in the building.
Downey.
Okay.
Yeah, it is true. You were such a big part of that in Letterman. But this thing that lives on for you, lucky for you, and you're in memes on Instagram all the time, is Billy Madison. You gave the greatest speech, and I think, did you help write all of Billy Madison, or did you throw in jokes, or did you just get that part?
Only that part. And I was up in Toronto, not very effectually, but I was asked to work on Tommy Boy, and I was up there with Fred Wolf, and I'm pretty sure that's when this was, unless I'm
they shot the same summer.
Okay, and so Adam asked me if I would do this thing, and it's funny that we're talking about the genesis of things. Well, the thing about Farley, if you guys remember, that's what I always used to say to Farley when he would speak at a writer's meeting. I would go, he would go like, what about, we'd go like, thanks, Chris. Everyone's now dumber. Are you proud of yourself?
And
I hope you're happy.
Are you proud?
And I channeled that when I was rewriting that part, and I made sure. So that was, whenever I hear that thing comes back, and it is a popular of all the things I've ever done in my life, probably that is the one that comes back at me the most.
Our producer, Greg Holtzman, says it's an important part of his childhood. So what is it? So just set the scene real quickly, and then what your line that is now remembered.
It was kind of long though, right? It wasn't just that.
Well, it's funny.
Was the punch line.
I tell you, the funniest time it ever came back at me, I was at my college 25th reunion, and I was doing a little presentation where I showed clips from the shows, and both of you guys were represented. You'll be glad to know. And so it was my Harvard 25th reunion, and I'm standing there, and there's a sort of it wasn't exactly backstage. It was actually outside, but it was kind of like a courtyard. And I was going to be introduced and come out, and I was sort of pacing, like going over what I was going to say. And I look over, and about as beautiful a girl as I've ever seen in my life. And David, if you'd seen this girl, you would have been all over that. But she was this tall, beautiful blond girl.
Brings me into
it. Well, I mean, so
David, he's a man about town.
Yeah.
But Dana was our player and remains our player. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so this girl comes over to me, and it's like she actually sort of like sauntered sexily over to me, and it was like a James Bond movie scene or something. And she grabs my ear and whispers sexily into my ear the entire speech from Billy Madison. But she had it word perfect. And I didn't remember it myself. This was 1999. So it was like, 5 or 6 years after the movie came out. I didn't remember it myself, except the parts about everyone. It was like at no point in your rambling, incoherent, were you even close to anything that could that resembled and I don't remember. See, at something point, I award you no points, and everyone in this room is now dumber for having heard it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
That she does the whole thing perfectly, and then her father, who was my classmate, steps out from a pole. We got you. This is my daughter Claire, and it's just such a bizarre experience to this day.
That was such a
win. People haven't
Claire.
seen the movie that are listening. Adam Sandler's character gives a speech in the gym, and it's horrible. And then Jim critiques it, and it gets the last line is "May God have mercy on your soul."
God have mercy
just
on
for
your
giving
soul.
an uncoordinated speech, basically.
Wow, and Billy
Madison
is a classic.
And then Steve Buscemi is up in the stands with a high-powered rifle, and he shoots Bradley Whitford, who's the bad guy.
The bad guy.
And that was a lot of great people in that movie.
Norm was in a reaction shot. I watched it last night.
Yeah. And that's right. That was a fun hang that summer.
Yeah, it was called Billy Madison, and we were called Billy the Third. Do you remember that? And the Turners named the movie Billy the Third a Midwestern Tommy Boy. That was what it was called. And then when Billy Madison was shooting, we were shooting. We're like, oh shit, he's going to come out first. We can't use Billy twice. Two SNL, all on SNL.
I did never realize that. I thought when you said Billy the Third, I thought you were saying like it was my third priority that summer.
No, it was Bill, and they were shooting and we were shooting, and then I was like, fuck. So we couldn't come up with Tommy Boy for a while because Billy the Third was Billy, and then it turned into Tommy, and then I think Brian Denny just called him Tommy Boy, and then I didn't even like Tommy Boy at the beginning. I go, I don't know about that one, but now he's kind of stuck, and now I like it, but. That was why, because Billy was taken. We both wrote a movie with Billy in the same summer we shot.
I remember I got roped into that because Lauren had wanted me very badly to work on the script. And I think a couple of my ideas remained, but it was really Fred. And I thought actually the funniest things in the movie were you and Fred. But anyway, there was an arbitration with the Writers Guild because I think whether or not the question was whether or not to share for Fred to get part screen credit. Yeah. And I said, I don't deserve it and I don't need it and don't worry about me. But I remember that it was the first time I was ever involved in the craziness of the committee. They award huge points to the names of the characters. And I go, who the fuck cares what a character's name is unless it's like, well, no, but who had the idea to call the guy, Brad Hartman? And I go, well, okay, that wasn't me. Oh, really?
Oh, that's
because with you, he was Andy Barnett.
Jim, I remember one scene you wrote in Tommy Boy that stuck with everyone. It was where Farley took off his shirt and said, "Look how fat I am."
Okay, that what I was. I was mad at him.
You were always
think you guys would do it.
I don't know if it made the final cut, but I go, "This is Jim's. You have to do it."
And none of us. Didn't you threaten to quit?
And we all laughed at him. No. Then I was the one that cried and said, "Why is Farley on so much?" Oh, it's because the Q ratings just came in.
David, everyone knows you did all you could to keep that out. So,
well, Jim, thank you. I guess we'll go. But you're a fucking stud. We love you. Everyone talks highly of you.
Jim Downey, the one and only.
Let's not let this be the only time we get together.
No, we'll
David,
be doing this for
David, I got your phone number.
I know.
I tricked them into giving it to me, and I know it's yours because of the outgoing message. So I'm not gonna say it. Don't worry about that.
It's funny,
But I was not able. It took me a long ass time to. Yesterday was Rock's birthday.
Did you call him?
And I tried to because I don't have an up to date number for him. So I Marcy Klein, who I was texting with, texted me like, "Hey, it's Chris Rock's birthday," and it's funny because I just had dinner Sunday night with Tim Meadows. And Tim told me, well, my birthday was yesterday and Rock's is coming up. So I was aware. And I know Marcy Klein talks to Chris all the time. And so Marcy had sent me a text about something else. I go, hey, and she goes, and it's Chris Rock's birthday. And I go, hey, well, send me his number. I'll text him happy birthday. And then there's like nothing. There's no response. And then I get a text like, I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up with him. Meaning she doesn't want me to have his, she doesn't want to give me his phone number.
He loves you.
So I just texted her back saying, maybe after I've been at the show a few more years,
By the way, Jim, this is like it's back then. It's me and you and Dana talking like we're Wally and Joseph. I saw Rock the other night, Meadows and Marcy Klein. This is like we're all talking still from however long ago.
We have a bond.
We didn't want to make you nervous, Jim, but the actual working title for this podcast is The Hot Seat. But we didn't want to let you know.
We didn't have enough gotcha moments.
I'm glad I did not know that because I would have been a fucking nervous wreck.
No, Jim, you're great.
I did not know that.
Anything you say is interesting about old SNL, and everyone loves to hear it. But we'll talk soon, and thank you for coming.
Really.
We're going to be talking.
We'll talk soon.
We're going to be talking. All right,
guys.
We'll be on the
phone.
That's what we're doing. Okay, bye, guys. Bye, guys. Thank you, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Hey, what's up, flies? What's up, fleas? What's up, people that listen? We want to hear from you and your dumb questions.
Questions, ask us anything. Anything you want.
You can email us at flyonthewall@cadence13.com.
Hey, Alex May. Alex wants to know what your experience was like living in New York City back in the SNL days. Figured you were at 30 Rock all the time, but curious what New York stories you've got and whether you liked it or not. He loves our show.
That's like a 45-minute answer.
I know. That is a small book. It's like a 100-pager.
When I got out there, I was, my brother, Andy, and Katie, they lived up in the Upper West Side, so I moved up there. And I didn't really know anyone. And a lot of people live in the Upper West Side. Dana Carvey, Dennis Miller, Mike Myers.
And where were you?
I was like 84th and West End. And so I had a dinky little dump, and it was tough living up there. I'm from Arizona, so the living in through the winters and my hair got brown within minutes. What happened is my hair was always white because I was in the sun, always in Arizona. And then in New York, it's only sunny for about 10 minutes a day because the sun goes between the buildings and it comes straight down on you. And it's shadowy, it's freezing. So hair got dark, didn't eat well, and loved New York, but the experience was really just being in the building. We didn't do anything other than that.
Well, first of all, I was there before I did SNL. I worked in Rockefeller Center in 1981 with Mickey Rooney and Nathan Lane. And I got an apartment on Lexington Avenue, and they told me that Robert Redford edited Ordinary People in the apartment. And I said, yeah, right. 6 years later, I'm doing a movie with Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. The director says, oh, I was an editor. I edited Ordinary People with Robert Redford. Where'd you edit it at? And that was the apartment. We can cut that one. Here's one thing for a California.
I like that. That's a real answer.
These are long stories. But you'd go to a movie and it's like 65. You'd come out of the movie and it's 25. I'd never experienced
degrees,
that. Yeah. Getting cabs, like I didn't have a car service anytime. So just getting to SNL on Saturday, if it was snowing,
very weird.
Trying to get cabs was really difficult. I would say experientially, Rockefeller Center is just the coolest, the weirdest, kind of almost haunting building, all the history of it. And there's nothing like being in New York City doing well on Saturday Night Live. That's the most intense thing you could have. And, I don't know if I'm the first one to think of this, but if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Anywhere, New York?
Yeah, New York. I mean, it's, these old vagabond shoes, I had.
Should I start spreading that news?
I think that's a good idea. New York. Just, let me tell you.
Thank you, Alex. That was a great question.
Thank you. Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13.
Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes.
Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment. Production and engineering led by Greg Holtzman, Richard Cook, Serena Regan, and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.
Okay, James Gaffigan. He has 28 kids and lives in a one-bedroom apartment. Remember we asked him about that? And he's like, that's old. He had 7 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. I go, why is this on your Wikipedia? You got to change this stuff. He's a funny guy, though. A lot of kids, a lot of stand-up, very funny.
A lot of huge specials.
A lot of Grammy nominations. Mm-hmm. He really churns out those specials. That's hard to do. Dude, I'm going to tape one at the end of the year, I think. And I'm like, if I tape one and start from scratch, it's so hard. These guys that do it. It's so hard.
Just call it David Spade Stories and just collect meter maids that hassled you. Or
really, David Spade meandering. How about musings? That way they can't get mad.
Yeah, I love anything that ends with, well, then they can't get mad.
Yeah, smiles and nods.
Who just smiling
and how about David Spade? Smile and nod along. No laughter, though. Just like...
Here's the title of my new special. Dana Carvey is David Spade.
Oh, that's not bad. You get double algo.
Well, I do different makeup. I look like you and I come out, I do it as you.
I know. Everyone's like, are you guys the same person? Shut up.
Hey, full disclosure. All right, Greg can cut this part. Back to who you're about to listen to. Jim Gaffigan is so funny, and he really breaks down how he does this. Breaks down is my favorite phrase. And he is someone who can, back to your point, kind of take 2 months, go back and forth to the nightclub, tape it, listen to it, and meticulously fix anything that's not working. So he's like Jerry Seinfeld in that way.
Yeah,
highly
he's
disciplined.
A wordsmith. I mean, I don't know if we talked about this. He went on the road to Europe and said, I'm going to write a whole special just about different countries. And he would go to cities and just talk about their city. It's so hard to do. It's so much of a challenge. Things like that are not in my playbook right at this moment. They will be.
Well, I've booked a ticket for you to go to. You go to Brussels, and you take the train to Munich. By the time you get to Florence,
10 minutes right there.
Yeah. They talk funny. That's the name
Buzz
of it.
by Bangladesh, get a few minutes of material, every country. But Jim, anyway, in all seriousness, Dana, Jim, I saw him in Unfrosted, which was what he's talking about here, the Unfrosted Pop-Tart movie, Seinfeld's movie. I thought he did a great job. He has a huge part in it.
He was hilarious and Unfrosted. He was
Very
consistently incredibly funny in that movie.
I have to say, I cracked up at Unfrosted.
It was so great casting.
Great casting. Tons of cameos. We'll talk about that with Jerry when he comes on. But here is Jim, a very sweet guy and a very hardworking guy.
And one of our great stand-up comedians of the last many years. Hey, honey, Jim Gaffigan's on.
Alert the house.
The comedian.
Oh,
sorry.
It's so. I hope your wife is excited as I am.
You're excited.
I am excited.
You're excited. Are you on a podcast press tour right now? Remember in the olden days, you'd sit in a chair and like Channel 2 from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
But now it's just
I think this is the only one I'm doing. I'm pretty sure.
I love it.
Because you guys are special.
Well, isn't that?
Because there are so many, right?
Yeah.
And you can get swallowed up by all of them.
They suck.
My only goal is for you, Jim, to not be bored on this podcast.
Impossible.
Because they can get really tedious if they're totally autobiographical. So tell me about...
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
My goal is to get Jim to say the F word within 4 minutes.
That's not going to fucking happen, buddy.
Wait, that's great.
Hey, wait a minute.
Jim,
it is.
This leads me to a question. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah. Right. What is so weird?
Well, I mean, this might have been what David was going to, because, sometimes I'll be hanging out with comics and we'll be at some green room and they'll curse and they'll turn to me and they'll go, "I'm so sorry for cursing in front of you." Like I'm some youth minister. And I'm like, just because I don't curse in my act. I mean, Dana, you don't curse, do you, in your act, really?
A little bit,
I'm telling Jesus.
The guy who gets in my head sometimes is Jerry, because like him and Leno have these philosophies about stand-up. And Jerry's, one of his is like, if you can find a way to get the same laugh without the word fuck on certain punchlines. And there's bits I've tried all these different things and just never gets the same laugh. But that is kind of, I like if someone, like when I watch you, I don't think this is a clean comic. Never even occurred to me. Never even thought of it. It's just a guy doing funny shit. So I think swear words can be really abused and used, especially in nightclubs. I see young comedians, audiences boozed up. And if you just hit those all the time. So I don't even think about you as a clean comic, seriously, when I watch you, because I feel the bits are actually really sophisticated, because I know how hard it is to write line after line. You have that skill set or that discipline to, I'm going to talk about this thing for 5 minutes and rotate it, like Robert Klein, Seinfeld, Cosby, that.
Jim Counterpoint. Oh,
but is that still in your head at all? Like, he's the clean guy. He's like a minister. He has no edge. He doesn't say anything. Is that what kind of bugs you, or what?
I mean,
I didn't read that. But.
No, I mean, it doesn't bother me. There probably was a couple of years ago where it was, I mean, it's just, if there's an article about you, that's the adjective that I would get when, comedians just want funny. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing you want, right? That's the only.
Instead of leading with clean, they lead with, instead of leading with funny, they go, well, if you want to see him, he's definitely clean. You're like, well, we can jump to funny whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, and family friendly is another backhanded compliment in a way. That means county fair, kind of.
Means the Muppet Show.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the whole thing about clean. It's like we don't live in a society filled with so much cursing that people are like, I'm going to actually pay $30 to go hear someone not curse. Like, that would be a weird world. Amazing. He doesn't curse.
Well, there's some money in, first of all, you're hilarious. And Dana, I will hit Jim up here and there.
He's got more awards than Captain Kirk. in Star Trek, 6 Grammy Awards, 7 nominated for, voiceover. So yeah, you do have that massive awards as well.
Thank you. That's very nice.
I have 1 Emmy. Whoops.
That's cool.
It's not 6. Are you up for 6 Grammys? Is that possible?
No, I was nominated, but for 6 Grammys. But
that's great.
Yeah, no, I mean it's strange, the whole awards thing, right? I just think that it means that people still recognize your name, right? That's where the nominations come in. But I don't have not in this age of Chappelle, I don't have an expectation of ever winning any awards ever.
It's Chappelle's world. We just
there's
yeah, I mean, I got
important comedy and there's stuff that I do. So there's sometimes if it's just like if you don't have a super angle or your special isn't in front of no audience or something very offbeat, it's tough to get attention for just being funny. And there's something you said, guys like you churn out so much money in so many crowds and just grind it. And I try to do too. I can't fill what you fill. I mean, Dana and I were just talking about it. You go out and do a place I do, but you do it for 5 nights. And it's such a hard thing to do. And it's so hard to build a crowd. And then you do a special and then a tour, then a special. And to keep churning out specials is to throw away an hour is so hard to me. Is it hard? I'm trying to get to a question, but I'm just saying you can answer that. I mean, keeping it clean is hard, but you're used to it. So a special, how long does it take you? Let's start with that.
It varies. I mean, it's also changed so much, right? It used to be you would do one special and then that would be kind of what a comedian would do, except for Carlin, right? It would just be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that now we're in this age where people do consume so much stand-up. But to answer your question, I don't know. I just find it really rewarding. And it's something that I have some semblance of control over in the entertainment industry. Whereas like if I probably got more acting work, I probably wouldn't be putting out so many specials, but some of it's just kind of creatively fulfilling. And I mean, stand-up's so immediate. You come up with an idea, you can go on stage and then you can rewrite it and stuff like that. And some of it, I think, is just the habit of, I think I also get burned because I tour a lot. I get burned. I get tired of material too. So once it works, I'll kind of feel like I should put it away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's hard to do for me. I did a special.
You didn't know I'd be
this
entertaining.
No, I like it.
Actually, our audience loves this, and I do too.
Okay.
I'm fascinated by, do you at this point or recently, can you, you're in a room, you come up with an idea, you're sort of sketching out bullet points for laugh points, but it's kind of unformed. Can you feel like you can get it closer to the finish line before you put it in front of an audience? Or is it the same thing of all the surprise the audience will tell you? Because you have a voice and you have a rhythm and you have a sensibility. So it seems like is it slightly easier to write for your character in a sense, unless you step outside the lines with Dark Pale, where you went, you challenged your fans a little bit.
Yeah.
That one, which I thought was cool.
Oh, thanks. I would say that it's different, right? I mean, as you guys know, sometimes the whole thing just comes out of your mouth. Particularly if I'm complaining about my kids, that's I'm usually kind of remembering how I was complaining about my kids to a friend, and then I would say that on stage. But then there's some where I really kind of tinker with the material if it's more observational, kind of mundane things. But it's it's I don't know. Some of it is I love the process so much, and every stand-up has such a different way of going about it. Like I wish I was one of those guys that could just go on stage and talk about things that he feels about things. But I don't think that I talk normally in complete sentences. Like there's a lot of knows and stuff like that. So I have to write and rewrite and land with a noun as opposed to a verb, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's work to get a bit, to go from, you hear about songs that get written and they're like, this great song, one of the Beatles wrote in like 10 minutes. And then that's like jokes. You go, this thing actually has a beginning, middle, and end right now, right when I say it. It's fully formed. And I have to tape it. I audio it when I go on stage, like if I'm here at the Comedy Store. Then I go home and I hate listening to it, but sometimes I transcribe it and I look through it and I go, I don't need that. I don't need that. And I circle that and I go, I need this. That's tighter. Then I try that. And then I go, how do I get out? Like sometimes I have good jokes and I can't get out. And so I leave them on the sidelines because I just can't find just a great ending. And it's all like you say, it's rewarding when you get it right and you figure out that Rubik's Cube and then you do a set and you go, I actually am up to another hour and it's working. And you feel like, fuck, I'm still kind of good. I mean, again, like movies, you do what they say, you go when they say, you wear what they say. And in stand-up, you just go, I have a new joke. I'm going to go try it tonight somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Can I ask both of you guys? Yeah. Oh, sorry, go. I just want to ask both you guys a question because I find, and other people find there's a self-loathing aspect to listening to yourself back.
Sucks. Yeah.
And it's like, God, am I bad? And it's painful. But the great comics do listen back because there's so much there. How do you do that? Both of you, do you kind of skip over? Okay, I remember that section went pretty good. Now I'm in the section that felt bad. And then is it torturous at all? Or is it just more forensic? Like, okay, that's interesting. That sucked because the setup, I didn't do it, whatever. Because I have a horrible time listening or watching myself on
it's
TV.
Grotesque.
But I think it's getting numb to that self-loathing, and also... I mean, some of it is I sometimes comment on how repulsed I am by myself. But, so that alleviates some of that. But yeah, no, I think that, I don't know. I think it's just kind of the never ending kind of puzzle of it that I find rewarding. Because sometimes listening back, I'll be like, oh, I should have done this, or I'll hear, oh, I was mumbling too much. And then, of course, for me, it's like sometimes I'm so dumb. Like, I'll just forget the intention behind the joke. Like, I'll hear myself say it and I'll be like, yeah, that's not the point of the joke. No wonder it didn't work. But I do think there's so much value, and this is going to sound kind of corny, in like the different types of laughs, right? So there's the super hot audience and I mean attractive, but the super good audience that's laughing at everything. But when an audience where it's sometimes working the material, you can figure out, like, so this segment of the audience or this demographic might interpret what I'm saying in a certain way that I'm not intending. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys ever encounter that? Like, I have this joke right now that I'm kind of working on, that where I talk about, putting a man on the moon, and how we're going to Mars. And it's like, we put a man on the moon 54 years ago, and we never did that since then because we never put a man on the moon. And so that's not even the thing that's interesting to me. The interesting thing to me is that it brings up such a whirlwind of conspiracy among the audience in emotions that there's some people who are like, we didn't go to the moon. And then
I know them.
And then there's some people that are like, it doesn't matter. And then some people just appreciate it for the observation that I'm making in the joke. And it's so like you accidentally bring up something that changes the mood in the audience or sets an expectation.
Right. They're thinking of their thought about it. They're not laughing. They're going, wait, does he mean we never went
to make it funny? Here's an observation I had about that, and I assume you would not use it, and I don't think it's that profound. But when I meet people who say we didn't go to the moon, sincere college-educated people, and I say, well, if we didn't go, if we faked it, that's a bigger accomplishment than actually putting a man on the moon. It's because I've hung out with Buzz Aldrin. He's Brando. I flew 5 hours on an airplane with him. So he's genius at how the thousands of people who kept this conspiracy together. But I don't know if there's funniness in them, their hills, but.
No, there is something about, and also there's something of, we can laugh at ourselves about it. It's kind of like the flat earthers, you know what I mean? There's people that sincerely believe that, but there used to be a time where like, even if you were a flat earther, and I'm not saying they're all like this, but like, they'd be like, I know people think I'm crazy because I think the earth is flat. But now today people are like, are you saying that I'm crazy because I believe the earth is flat?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the moon stuff is tough because most of my crowd doesn't even know we went to the moon or knew about it. And so that's another problem is you're doing premises. I talk about ET in my act because I talk about aliens. And just the fact that my crowd is mixed, they're either 4 to 8 years old or they're 8 to 12. So the older ones
That's
sort
a
of
big range. How do you appeal to a 4-year-old and a 12-year-old?
I know you got to mix it up. And so ET, like a lot of my audience knows it, so I can run with a joke. But if they don't know it, there's 4 minutes where I feel like they're checking out because they're trying to get it from the context, and they're not supposed to work that hard, I guess.
I have a joke where I reference Shaka Khan, and I can see people in their 20s, very informed, socially aware people, and they have a look on their face. Shaka Khan, like, was that somebody who was a leader of apartheid? Like they have no idea who Shaka Khan, who like was such a brilliant performer that defined in many ways our generation. And a 23-year-old might not know who Shaka Khan is.
They don't know they're singing it because they're going through they're in the crowd going, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. Looking around, you're like, yeah, that song. And they're like, no, that's it. But if you have I know you have a 20-minute bit based on Shaka Khan, which is great. It's like, I don't get the premise. So the next 19 minutes, I'm just going to sit here and wait this one out. That's the problem sometimes because I think my references are so snappy and everyone's like, you don't even know what you're talking about, dude.
I've got a Trini Lopez chunk that I'm still working it. When you go to these clubs, I just curious, like, do you have go-to clubs in New York, or when you come in, do you go when it's like midnight, or how do you deal with, ladies and gentlemen, this next gentleman,
you might know him,
the rock star hype. You just you're kind of probably tired and you got your note. He's coming. He always brings it. Jim Gaffigan.
I like to perform at Gotham Comedy Club in New York, and some of that. I mean, it's
a good one.
This is talk about overthinking. Obviously, the Comedy Cellar is a legendary comedy club here in New York, but it's kind of by design, very interactive. People are always walking to the bathroom, stuff like that. And if you don't address it, you're a little bit like, that guy didn't see that, that 6-foot guy that had a mohawk walk by. You have to address it. Whereas at Gotham, and I think that Largo's a little bit like this in LA,
deeper.
You can do your show kind of self-contained. And I enjoy crowd work, and some of my favorite people are always interacting with the audience, but I selfishly want to just do the material, you know what I mean? Right. And so, or work on the material, I should say. So that's where I like to go.
I do that. When you mention something in the crowd, I've done this in theater shows, you mention one thing and then it might get laughed. Plus, it's always risky to leave your act. People don't know this. When you leave your safety of your act, you don't know if they're going to answer the right way or you're going to come up with something. So I say something, and now they know that I know the crowd is moving. So when they move, they sort of make a point of it because they want me to say something. And now I've entered crowd work.
Yeah.
You are now in crowd work. And I go, I don't want to do this. And people are waiting for me to talk and waiting. And then they yell. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. No, it is the crowd work thing. Again, it's very entertaining. I mean, I think like comedians, like, I don't know if you've seen Ian Back do crowd work. He's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Mike Sweeney back in the day was just like a magician.
It's hard.
It's really hard. And there's some people that are really good at it. And I'm kind of, I think it's inefficient use of time. That's my thing. I look a little bit like a college coach here.
I like that coat you have on. That's kind of
You're
cool.
Not actively coaching somewhere? Because
I'm not coaching this year.
Your kids.
Okay. You look more like an umpire than a coach because you have a black hat with nothing on it. It's just black.
Just for people who are fans or don't know this, but the alter ego voice is kind of unique. For someone who's as big as you, I don't know of anyone else who has that companion that's so integral and really the conceit of it is brilliant because obviously you're always letting everyone in on there's no elephant in the room. You completely pop the bubble. So I don't know how that evolved, but when you came on to that and it started working, you must have been pretty like, whoa, I got a whole other world of comedy now that you can improvise with sometimes, right? You don't always know what it's going to say. Yeah.
And you know, it was very much, you know, I'm a slow talking Midwesterner. So when I look like, you know, I could be John Tesh's brother. So by the way, now people are like, who's John Tesh? But when I would go on stage in the early 90s, I was this very white bread guy and slow talking. So I found if I just kept talking and, or even kind of spoke for them, I could get ahead of any possible heckling or snide comment. And it's you know, communicating self-awareness, which I think is always beneficial. But also the improvised element always helps a lot. And some people get really sick of it. And, you know, but I also feel like it's one of those things where you can change your point of view on a joke. So like if I have this point of view where I'm very positive of something, if I'm taking the voice of someone in the audience, I can take an opposing view. It's a little secret.
It's good. Smart, yeah.
And it's very high and whispery, but it's not really, I don't even know if it's a man or a woman. It's sort of,
you know, people used to say when you do the church lady, people used to say that to me. When you do the church lady. And I'm like, I'm not doing the church lady.
No.
High voice.
I was, the first time I used that voice before I attached church lady to it was when I'd go on stage. David had this problem when I was 21 and I'd hear people gasp because they thought I was 15. This is before life beat me up, but I really look young. And so I would go, wow. Apparently we let little children onto the stage.
Oh, yeah.
So that was, but then it became the character. But they're very different in rhythm and in intent. That's just funny how people connect things like that, you know.
And some of it is, I remember, I mean, I used to do these characters like in the early 90s when there was downtown, everyone's doing characters. Danny Hawk does characters. You know, there's every 5 years, there's somebody doing characters, you know. Bogosian did his characters. And so I was doing characters. And one of the characters was someone that just went up there and complained. And some of it was a little bit inspired by my oldest sister, who was always kind of, I think it's neat. Like, you know, like if a joke didn't go over, I'd say, my sister Kathy would love this. I think it's neat. No one's laughing. I think Jimmy's really getting too big for his britches. And so there was some of that, and it was very much, it was weird because it was inconsistent, because when it would work great. But if it didn't work, the audience would be like, this guy is just mentally ill. Yeah. You know what I mean?
What did we find out? Were you too big for your britches, or was she onto something?
I still am too big.
Did you do
what
it?
Does that
did
mean?
You,
I don't know.
I read you did you did impression.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't know where figures of speech come from. There's 20 minutes right there. I used to do Norm, our sweet Norm McDonald. They say a penny saved is a penny earned, right? And that's 100% return. It's more like a penny saved is like maybe 10 cents earned or something like that. But anyway, that was. I used to think, it'd be fun to have Norm do all those what do you call them? Figures of speech. They say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, but really depends how high up the apple is, and if there's any kind of wind, right?
Crowd rolling in aisles.
We love Norm. But Jim, did you do impressions too for a while? And will you do some of the ones you did?
You did?
Okay.
Well, I had when I first started, I did Casey Kasem coming up, and then I did Jeremy Stewart. Your money's in bills. It's like now it just sounds like I'm doing impressions of Dana's impression. What else did Dana do? Because I did that too.
What did Jimmy Stewart say? Your money's in bills?
Well, your money's in Bill's house. Now, don't you understand here? Potter's not selling. Potter's buying.
Yeah. It's a wonderful life. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to think of.
You have to do like Cardi B now and Tyga,
Yeah. I think I used to do Malkovich, stuff like that, but nothing.
Continue.
Malkovich is hard. I've wanted to do him for years, but it tilts into Travolta,
Yeah. It's very whiny. Because I'm Midwestern. He's kind of that whine is a little bit of a Midwestern whine. It's just it's a little bit vocal fry.
Yeah, he could be on The Bachelor.
I only have one phrase, and it was from the Sandra Bullock movie. It's only one phrase. It was post-apocalyptic, and I don't think it sounds like him, but it's like, "Can't you tell that he's lying?" See, it's a little too new, a little too much Long Island. Anyway,
Jim, you do not have all this money. Do you live in a 2-bedroom apartment?
That was.
This is from Wikipedia when you were 11.
Is it Wikipedia? How do you update? You ever go to some people's Wikipedia and you're like, wow, this is an amazing article. And then yours is like, he likes food. You know what I mean?
It does say you like food. It says
he likes food.
Salmon is one of the rare foods you dislike.
Yeah, that's big
That's
in
my Wikipedia.
You like every food.
He likes food. He got baby 5.
Yeah,
baby 5.
You're family friendly, and you
family
have
friendly.
You have 7 people that live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Lower Manhattan, and you eat at Veselka.
Veselka.
Mm-hmm. Veselka.
You've probably been to Veselka. That's so weird. You go to one restaurant, or you mention it in one article, and they're like,
"That's our guy. He goes there all the time. That's his place."
You once got Paul Reiser in a headlock.
Some of these aren't real, but some are. We're just going to give you.
Now it's turning into that. What's that show? Comic coming up. What's that called?
Coming up.
He's a billionaire now. He was on Real People. Coming up.
Oh, Byron Allen.
Byron Allen. Yes.
Now you like the. Now I understand you went on vacation.
They're just very generic.
Yeah. I understand you got a dog.
Yeah. David Spade, you rented a car once.
I understand you recently took up tennis.
It just jumps around. That's the most random shit.
And is a billionaire now, if you're listening.
And he's just sitting on piles of money going, I think it's working.
It also says you home birthed yourself. Is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't, but my wife did. Yeah, we did do that.
No, you birthed you when you were born.
No.
That wasn't your suggestion?
I came out of an egg.
You did?
Your grandfather invented silly putty?
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
You hang out with a silly buddy? All right.
Silly buddy.
Wait, you are friends with Rich Jenny, and I knew Rich Jenny a little bit in the old days, who was a very interesting dude. You know, remember him, Dana?
Of course.
Richard Jenny.
He
was killing it.
He would get on a roll and a rhythm that was, I don't know, no one's ever done it better. When if you take a big chunk of Richard Jenny where he is just going, man, was he something?
Yeah, he
special.
was. It's amazing because he was at such a, and he could just destroy a room. Just the pacing was just boom, boom, boom.
The Jaws bit. Didn't he have this Jaws chunk or something about the shark? I don't know. Anyway,
he played a second lead. Was it to Jim Carrey in The Mask or one of those movies? Because
he was in it.
When I met him, John Mulrooney, if you remember, was I said I was looking for a place when I was starting out, and he said, "I'm moving out. I have a roommate, Rich Jenny," and he said, "Why don't you move there? He's on the road 50 weeks a year. You can just take my room." And I said, "Oh, for real? Is that cool?" He said, "Yeah." So a week later, he said, "You moving in?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Because he got the Fox show he's going to host for Joan Rivers or something." This is all old trivia and super boring. But I said, "Okay." And the only funny part was it was like one of these places on like Detroit or Suites or whatever. So I move all my shit in. The next fucking day, Rich Jenny walks in and he goes, "Who the fuck are you?" And I go, I'm moving here because John didn't tell him.
Oh, wow.
And he just goes, "Wait, you're living here in my house?" I'm like, "Okay, this sounds weird." John Mulrooney, do you know him? He didn't tell you any of this? No. And he goes, "Get out by Friday." And I go, "Oh my God." So I said, "Okay, fair enough," because you didn't know. So I found another place. And by Friday, he goes, "You know what? I like you. You can stay." And I go, "I'm already moving."
Oh, okay.
I know. We got along. And then we stayed friends because obviously he was thrown by that. But he was great.
Speaking of great stand-ups, I want to know if this is true. Wikipedia page. Jim, favorite stand-up, the best stand-up of all time is Richard Pryor to you?
Yeah.
Or is that made up? Okay.
No, I think that's pretty true.
If you, and I would never disagree with that. If you look at Long Beach.
You can't fight
just that special because he operated on so many levels. Like he was an actor, he's a sketch player, and he'd do the character, "Hey, come here, kid." And then he'd also just have brilliant things to say. The interesting thing about that special, for people who want to check it out, is that there was an opening act and the crowd had not even come back into the theater, and he just comes out and starts his act. It was the coolest way to ever start a special. But anyway,
and that was his special. Yeah. And I think he was opening for Patti LaBelle.
That was it. Yeah. So you speak about him. I don't
wait. His special was opening for someone.
Yes. Yeah,
that's
in
awesome.
Long Beach, and it starts out kind of slow, and then it just builds to all this, whatever you call Richard Pryor-ism. Did you ever meet him, or did you?
No, I never met him.
What makes you say that? I mean, what's your take on him as a stand-up?
I think some of it is the. I think that he had this unique ability to, it's weird. I haven't talked about this in a while, but I think that what's really appealing, why people have a connection with comedians, is a certain amount of vulnerability, like the contrast of the confidence and vulnerability. Now, that being said, I think that like someone like Seinfeld or even Chris Rock don't reek of vulnerability, but there's something, you need to have some vulnerability. But I think Richard Pryor was like a very vulnerable guy, but also, but like just talk about like raw skills. Like when you consider, in that era, it's like maybe he did the store a couple nights and maybe he met with some writers, but like that was, he's doing it when he's opening for someone else is just bizarre. You know what I mean? It's during that era when, it was kind of just the opening act comedian. They would just throw them to the wolves. Like, it didn't, I'm trying to, now I can't think of his name, but like somebody had a great bit about opening for bands. And
I did it.
And just how like it was just brutal, right?
Yeah.
And even if you'd open for a great singer, they're not, and any comedian, if they're not opening for anyone is not easy, but opening for a musical act and they are there to see Patti LaBelle. Like I remember I opened once for Wayne Brady at a theater thing, and a guy just yelled, he goes, "When's Wayne coming out?" He kept saying that every 5 minutes. And I'm like, he's coming. He's coming. He goes, "Where's Wayne at? Where's Wayne at?"
Where's Wayne at?
And that was like in 97, you know what I mean? Or 98.
I opened for Suzanne Summers at Caesar's Palace Tahoe. That's a classic example of a comedian that doesn't fit really and wasn't that good. And I proved it. And I proved that it was a mistake. But she was very nice and signed a headshot for me. But that was a mix. I think Jim Carrey opened for Linda Ronstadt. Is that how he met her? And then he toured with her. Is that true? Maybe I'm making this up to sound interesting. But I have to ask you about Pop-Tarts movie because now I'm riveted by this movie.
Sure.
Yeah. You are in it. And you... well, actually, you tell me about the movie. I just love that there's all these people in it, and I want to hear about the table. It all sounds cool.
The trailer looks really
it looks very
fun.
cool.
It's colorful, and so go ahead. Talk.
Yeah,
really Wonka or something.
Called Unfrosted: The True Story of Pop-Tart. Yeah,
it's the true made-up story of the invention of Pop-Tarts, and it's. Jerry had this bit on the impact of Pop-Tarts on his life and how it was,
Yes, I remember. He worked on that for years, right?
Yeah.
To perfect it. Yeah.
And so he and some people during the lockdown wrote this script over Zoom. He was in New York and they were in LA. And that's what, when everyone else was making bread, they were writing a script. And but the script is a fictionalized account, and it's pretty absurd and funny, but it also utilizes a lot of it's weird because we there's been these times in comedy movies where there's the romantic comedy kind of, like a comedy has to have a romantic element, and then there's times where it was, Wayne's World, or it was, where that wasn't even, like that was a side plot, but like it was just more about getting bits out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like Unfrosted is about getting just bits out there and
just be funny. Enough of funny. Jerry falls for the mayor's daughter or whatever, which maybe he does. Don't give it away.
And so that's some of, but it's also a lot of silly references to his childhood, our childhood, that are kind of just, it's very much, like Jerry is very, he's very kind of meticulous and stuff. So, and we would shoot it, and you'd shoot the scene, and then similar to like probably how they did Seinfeld, because these were all guys from Seinfeld. Then they'd rewrite the whole scene, and there's part of you that's well, all right. Wasn't that good? And but it was great, and it was interesting to see kind of the because I was never on the TV show Seinfeld, to witness some of that craftsmanship in action. And it's just like, but it's, there's also something about this, almost goes back to, stand-up comedians. Like stand-up comedians, we go on stage alone with a microphone, and so we have this absolute control. And so and I don't know if Adam Sandler's like this or whatever, but like then they get on a set and they're kind of like, all right, you're going to say it like this, you're going to say it like this. And that's not necessarily bad, but because they have the heart of a comedian, they're like, this is how it's going to happen. Whereas like in an indie film, you're like, well, the moment of the scene informed me to do something else. Whereas with a comedy, it's like, we got to get these bits right. And we have to service the humor of this, which was, it was really interesting to do that.
And also make them look thrown away and not thought out, but thought out like an act, like where you're just going through your act and blah. And people like, you just make that shit up. And you're like, I wish I've been working on this.
Yeah.
You know, Jim, I'm just curious, like Jerry as a director, and it's the first time he's directing.
Oh, he directed
and I know
it. That's right. Okay.
He's like, because of Seinfeld, it's like a group, but Jerry is the official director. So between takes or after the rewrite, do you see Jerry laugh? Because Jerry's a good audience. Like he really likes to laugh.
It up, yeah.
And then he comes into you, and how does he decide to adjust it? Does he give you an example? Does he tell you intellectually why? Or does he say, I like what you do there, speed that up? Or how does he direct you? If you can.
It's very much, he is, well, I would say, you know, this might have been his first time directing, but we also know that
kind of directing.
Sitcoms are,
You don't need to be
very much
the
writer's medium, right? Yeah. And so the showrunner, you know, there's a director on sitcoms, but in a lot of ways, the head writer or even the star, creator, you know, like maybe I'm just shooting me. You'd be like, look, I'm going to do it this way. It's probably, you know, let's at least try.
Yeah,
this.
I ran a tight ship over there.
Yeah. So, you know, there's certain, but like I would say with Jerry, you know, he was definitely open. You know, the funniest idea always won. But what I thought was most telling, which didn't surprise me, but is the you know, the relentlessness to find the funniest bit in the individual scenes. And so, and there's also, and I imagine that's how he approaches editing too, because when you think of like comedians in cars, it's really just two comedians talking, right?
For 4 hours.
He makes that, how he makes that into a show is in post. And, you know, obviously the editor will add a lot of value, but some of it is, I think Jerry really knows his point of view. And I kind of, you know, what I really appreciate about like Seinfeld or Chris Rock is their core beliefs about their comedy or their beliefs in comedy. They're set in stone. Whereas I think most logical people will be like, is this funny? You know what I mean? Like, that's not to say that Jerry or Chris wouldn't say, oh, I thought that was going to be funny. It's not going to be funny. That happens to everyone. But
there's a confidence.
You know what I mean? There's a confidence, like the basic premise of, you know, of their kind of philosophy on comedy is unshakable. So like Jerry's like somebody who doesn't engage in, like comedians, we love to complain or gossip, and Jerry's just like, no, I don't do that. And so it's kind of,
it's true. Yeah. So, he's very zen in some ways.
Yeah. So like, I'll give him shit. I'm like, cause you're a robot, cause you don't have emotions, you know, and I'll give him shit on that. But like some of it is really inspiring. And so he doesn't get caught up by emotional distraction. And I even see that, like I remember one time at the store, I saw Chris Rock go up, and this was probably 15 years ago.
What's up?
And he did like 10 minutes, and he probably got laughs the last 2 minutes. I would have been a puddle on the floor, just shaking. He just walked off and he's like, hey, how you doing? You know, it's like, there is something about that, that conviction around your beliefs, or the belief in your process that they both have, that is really impressive.
I like being around a group of comedians, and in Saturday Night Live, you get comedy writers. And normally when the frequency is pretty narrow as to what's funny, like everyone's kind of jiving in on a script. seems like most of the time, everyone, when the right idea came up, oh yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah.
And everyone would agree.
Table rewrites on sketches.
Comedians have instinct. They've been around a long time. And so normally it's like, oh yeah, we got it. So that you probably had that esprit de corps on Pop-Tarts. Now it's going to be, where is it? Is it in theaters or it's on Netflix, right?
Netflix.
How do you get Netflix? What's that about? No,
Netflix is this new streaming platform. But
when does it start?
It's run by Ted Sarandos.
I think it's May 3rd.
Okay.
And
I can't do May 3rd. I can watch it on the 9th.
You can, you know what? There's this thing,
I won't be there opening night. Okay.
You can download it and watch it on a plane.
How is Kyle Dunnigan? Did you see him over there? Were you working with these guys? Or?
Oh my gosh. Kyle Dunnigan, I think he plays like 3 parts in the movie.
And does he play Carson?
He's so brilliant. He plays Carson. He plays
Cronkite?
Walter Cronkite, and I think someone else.
I saw Bill Burr as JFK is very funny.
Is that what it is?
He's got a hairpiece on. You're like, hey, that's a pretty good JFK. And then you realize it's Bill Burr.
You know, this movie has a big curiosity factor, too, because there's a lot of good people in it.
Melissa
what do you do in it, by the way?
I play, I'm Edsel Kellogg. I play the guy who Jerry works for me. I'm kind of a Nepo baby within the Kellogg family. And when we were going through, because, I obsess on things. So there'd be table reads and I would do research on the Kellogg's family. And I'd be like, because, it's crazy. Some of the Kellogg's, the starting idea, they created this cereal so people would stop masturbating. It's like bananas, right?
I did not know
and
that.
I would bring that up to Jerry and Spike and they'd be like, yeah, we're not bringing that up. We're gonna, you know what I mean? So
we're going for the funny here.
We don't need your kink brought into this, Jim. So
this is where, is it Spike Firestein?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great.
They work together.
Oh yeah.
Nazi Soup Kitchen, I think it was Spike or whatever, but yeah. So also we were told, which I think is a great name, Father Time.
I was going to ask you about Father Time.
Precious batch Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Yeah. Jim, you're involved. Explain the name of the bourbon and how you came about.
I think it's Father Time.
Father Time. Did I say something else?
No, there's Father Time and there's Father. No, so it's Father Time.
It's Father Time.
Yeah,
but it's Father Time. Father Time.
So you get both.
Yeah.
I thought there weren't enough people in the entertainment industry with their own alcohol.
Yep.
So that's why I did it. No, the story behind it.
I want to get into it. Can we go? I want to hear your story first, but I got to get Church Lady Wine.
I don't know. I'm sure you guys I don't even know if either of you drank or not, but I'm sure you've been approached about doing a celebrity spirit. And the thing that I've always been hesitant about is it just, it seems like a cash grab, or it just like, I've also gotten some celebrity spirits through gifts and stuff like that. And some of them are horrible. You know what I mean? Like, I won't bring up, but like somebody, I was like, wow, this is, I'm not like a booze expert, but like, this is bad, whatever it was. And so I've been approached a couple times, and I was very hesitant. And then, like, I think the last time I was approached, I was thinking, well, why don't I? Because I was worried about like it being of certain quality, or it just appearing like they obviously just want to use some of your notoriety so that they can make some money. And so. And I'm not like somebody who's in this, my empire of, this, and then I'm going to have my own clothing line. But the last time I was pitched, I was like, I do like bourbon, but like, and I know that you can buy a barrel and you can do a limited run or whatever. And I thought, well, I've got this buddy from college who lives in Louisville. Maybe he knows someone where we could do something like that. But I don't want some big spirit company or I don't want it to appear like a cash grab. So essentially what ended up happening is I ended up selecting this bourbon. I paid for all of it myself. If we sell all the bottles, I'll probably break even. But in some ways, it was just one of those things
it's
that
fun.
And I drink bourbon, so I wanted to do it. And I named it Father Time because, I have 3 teenagers now, and I never really, growing up, I would see my dad drink, and I'd be like, "Why does he drink?" And now that I have teenagers, I know why he does.
I got it. Of course.
So, you know what I mean? It's so it's weird. It's kind of, again, it's also a creative outlet for me, and I don't think that I'll it's not going to make me money, and it's not going to be in stores or anything like that. It's just one of those things that I knew that I could do some hopefully humorous social media posts and get through this limited supply of bottles. Right. But it is more complicated than I thought.
You're like, I'm not even selling it, and you can't even drink it. But other than that, it's very limited.
Let me ask you a
It's
question.
Only at your house.
It seems like the first thing you would want to do, Jim, is make sure that the product was great, because that gets away from money.
Absolutely.
Who did you find that could kind of go, oh yeah, this is a great bourbon?
And yourself, you have to like it.
And yourself, but there are people so steeped in it that they would probably be able to tell you.
Well, I reached out to my friend from Louisville, who I went to college with, and I had stayed. And I was like, and the subject of the email was like, crazy idea. Do you like bourbon? How much do you know bourbon people down there? Mm-hmm. And he was like, I do like bourbon. I know some people. And so he does indie films, and he had done like a bourbon for the Louisville Film Society. And he said, it can be done, but like, it's, it's not, you're not going to make money on it. You're, if you want to sample it, you're going to have to come down here, and we'll ship you stuff. So I sampled a lot of bourbon, which is what I would want to do anyway. And then I did go down to Louisville, and I have, 3 brothers. So they flew down, and we used it as kind of like a brother trip where we tasted bourbon and just ongoing research about just, this, because I always imagine, like when I would say 10 years ago, if I drank, it would be a beer, because, hard liquor, I just felt like I was pretending to be a grown up. Right. Or if I was, let's act like we're in a Tennessee Williams play by having an old fashioned, like it just felt false. But now, because of my children, I need the alcohol. That's my opinion.
So if someone wanted to purchase a case of this or whatever, what do they do? FatherTime.com, or how do they find
this? It's FatherTime or hash bourbon.com.
Okay.
But it's
FatherTime, one word, bourbon.com.
Yes.
Lowercase, whatever.
I like hash.
But I literally had to go and buy,
No, it's dash. It's dash. We looked at it.
Get the website and everything. It's one of those things. And my wife's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's just kind of like a nerdy project.
Yeah.
I'm doing my bourbon, and again,
I like that.
Is there something, because the label looks cool. Let's just assume it's a super quality beverage, and your limited run you do with this. There's always the possibility. I don't think that's your motivation. It's like a novelty, fun thing, but that it just sort of, the feedback is like humans love it and want more of it. Then all you do is wave your wand and say, okay, make more. And so that's possible, but you're not even thinking, I don't want a future trip. Like, it's not a disappointment if that doesn't happen, but it wouldn't stun me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, that would be great, but I think that even being pitched by these people that were doing these celebrity spirits, it is a real long-term thing that people are looking at, and it's getting into stores and stuff. Like, if someone approached me, I probably would be open to it, but I also, again, I'd probably care more, and this sounds really sincere, but I wouldn't want it to be crappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's not. Do you know what I mean? I'd want it to be good. Like it's not cheap, and the reason it's not cheap is because I made sure it's a cool bottle and it's a cool stopper and a cool label. And so, but I mean, if I wanted to, I could have made it cheaper, but I think I've eliminated risks of it being bad. You know what I mean? And so also the people that are, because it's a blend of, you pick 16 barrels of this and all that. And, it's also getting the right people to mix it together and all that. That's what the scientists say.
So it's a big,
it turns into, if you really want to sell it, some people dedicate 24 hours a day because it turns into such a big, but you got to get it in stores. You got to fly away. So it's probably harder to do that anyway. And you already have a full-time job.
Yeah. And by the way, we all know so many people that have, that's why I'm kind of like, yeah, if it came up, maybe, but like, I know people that have done it through the spirit companies, and it doesn't go anywhere anyway. So I'm like, this is just kind of for me, and I'll send you, I think I already have, David, I don't know if you drink, but I was going to, but I'd love to send you one.
He drinks.
I invested in one and it took a shit, so I know that side.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it was a horrible title for vodka. Took a shit vodka. I was against it.
No,
completely.
Dane, it was called Shitty Vodka.
Shitty vodka. See, that's
I thought it was. I thought everyone would get it.
Joe Dirt whiskey.
Oh, Joe Dirt.
Was there Joe Dirt whiskey?
No, it should.
No, but there should be Church Lady Chardonnay, sinfully delicious. Good night.
Yeah.
No, Jim, I wasn't the founder of it. I was just brought in and then jumped on a trend, all the wrong reasons, and also to help out a friend. And then it just kind of money evaporates, everything goes quiet.
Yeah, and that's why it's me. It's this thing is literally me and another guy, and the money's all. It's like he put in some money, but it's mostly my money. So there's, but it's really like all the promos that I did those all in one day when I was in Louisville. So you can do this if but like I think when you get a lot of people involved, that's when money starts disappearing.
But you know how it infiltrates your brain, just this idea of celebrities and spirits, like, and then you hear that suddenly they have their take of the sale of the tequila was $450 million or more. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds or George Clooney. I mean, it's just massive. So that's where your brain goes.
Ryan will buy this out of petty cash. He's so rich, he'll buy it for fun.
But it's sold for $2 billion, but his share will only be half of that. We'll be right back. Yeah. But that's not your intent.
Yeah, I kind of assume those days are done. Over. Like I do think that people will. I mean, if you are into bourbon, which I'm a little into, you end up kind of being a collector of like, oh, now I got Blanton's, now I got Pappy's, and does this Buffalo Trace different? It's like how an alcoholic rationalizes things.
Yeah,
but
it's fun though.
I do think that it is going to be a cool bottle that would be cool if it's like men with their man caves. It's a good man cave kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd gave us his skull of his
Aykroyd loves it too.
Crystal Skull vodka.
That's a cool bottle.
Yeah.
It's incredibly cool. You never want to open it. It's just sort of, it really sits on.
I put one right in my house, of course.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It's Danny Aykroyd.
And it's not empty. I held it up. It was very light, but it's not empty.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, thank you for talking to us. It's always fun to talk to you.
Jim Gaffigan is here. 10 specials and counting, I think.
Keep them
the
going.
most prolific, considered one of the best stand-ups of our generation. I don't know. I don't want to make a list. I don't know where to put him, but I'd say one of the very best stand-ups of this age group. I'm a little older, but I like what you young people are doing.
Yeah.
He's been our guest today. Father Time is the beverage. Unfrosted
is the movie.
Is the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jim Gaffigan
is our guest.
Was our guest.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. We'll talk to you soon,
Jim.
buddy.
Thanks so much, you guys.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Great
Enjoyed
chatting
it.
with you. Appreciate
Enjoyed
it.
it.
Take care.
Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman. And your hand could shake. You don't know. You're just like, yeah, it's almost too much. And especially if you've never, I mean, she's giving speeches, but it's a different animal.
I think
let's be honest, you guys. What's more difficult, being on SNL or being president? You know what I mean? It's SNL.
It's just different.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to start because you can tell me what I do and I'll tell you what you do.
Okay. I see you do this sometimes, like when you're thinking, and sometimes.
God, I touch my face all the time.
Sometimes like this, the pinky.
Really?
The pinky in the ear, I think. Unless I made it.
That's nuts.
Unless I made it up.
No, but you observe people. I kind of observe voices and stuff on people, which I didn't do before SNL because you sort of had to. You start to pay attention.
Yeah.
But something you do is this. I'll lean back.
Yeah. And that is a little bit just kind of stretching my back because I'm kind of in a high chair. But yeah, it's probably...
It's also psychotic.
A stress release, like, oh, let's not try too hard. Why don't we listen to the guests? Why do we have to overlap?
I do. I go like this after I interrupt everyone. I go, I got to reload to get my energy to interrupt again.
I listen to other podcasts sometimes, and boy, do they, we are not the kings of talking over our guests. I'll just put it that way.
Interrupt us. Yeah.
Interrupt us momentariness.
Well, my head is listen, so my hair's all super helmet because why? You might be doing this today too. Dana, as you know, Dana's in New York. They're doing an SNL photo today.
And it's in LA.
I've heard a little birdie I think it's because there's too many. They're doing sections. So New York and LA.
And
so
then they're going to try to make a cover where they jam us all on that. Yeah.
It's not Vanity Fair, so I'm not going to give them my total Blue Steel looks, but it is a magazine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a penny saver.
You're depending on where you are in the frame. Your head would maybe be the size of a dime, but probably smaller than a dime, a half a dime. So I'm not gonna, and you're supposed to dress like how you are, right? Would you explain what we're talking about?
We're supposed to do a photo for the 50th anniversary with people that were involved in the show, but there's so many people. I don't know if it'll be a full cattle call like at Dodger Stadium or it's going to be.
Isn't it for New Yorker Magazine? Sorry, New Yorker Magazine. Yeah,
or New York Magazine. I don't know.
Oh, that's it. New York Magazine. Sorry.
And who was the one we famously had the fight with back in the old days? We wanted to beat the guy up. Was that New York Observer or was it New York Magazine?
Probably.
Do you remember that?
Atlantic or I don't know what they were. But.
They came and stayed with us for a week and we buddied up with the guy and then he wrote a horrible.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And just shit all over
and it
us.
was Adam and Farley and everyone was like, let's go down there. Let's beat the fuck out of this. It was total disaster. Lauren, no. If so, I'm looking the other way.
I have a new impression you just made me think of. Lorne Michaels as a bullfrog in a pond. No. By the way, and guess what? Can I ask you a question?
Too many. Go ahead.
We actually, in our pond up on our farm, once had a male bullfrog sitting there in the middle of the night on the rocks and just a frog call to all the female frogs. It's just super loud for like hours.
Just trying to get some puss in the middle of the night.
But the New York Magazine thing, yeah.
Open for biz. Everyone listening is like, that's funny. That doesn't happen on my pond.
We trapped a raccoon the other day in a cage.
Hey, you got a coon.
And then, of course, you go to Harrison's Hardware. You get big, intense gloves, and you're kind of wrestling with a squirrely raccoon while you were cruising down, going to Koi to get some sushi. And you got to wrestle.
I like it.
Yeah.
When it's already keeled.
Yeah. You're cruising high in your Land Cruiser, looking around, pulling up to the valet, walking in like some kind of stud superstar and ordering
Look
calamari.
At me go. I go, give me that octopi. And half the time when you get the sushi, you go, I don't like the octopi. You always see a little. And you go, a good doctor could bring this back to life.
Yeah, that's that notion
that's the gross part.
It brings you to the table. It's still alive, and then somewhere it.
I don't like it. It makes me sick.
I like it medium well. I don't like it rare. I don't want a hamburger rare.
I don't know if I like this look today, but go ahead.
Here's I'll come around to this. New York Magazine asked me in the email, would you like a groomer? We have hair people, and also would you like a personal groomer that we can fly in?
What?
Yeah, groomer. Now, a groomer.
Spoiled.
You have makeup, you have hair. This is inside if you're going to talk show. But a groomer is like an overarching person that tells you how to groom yourself up. I said, I don't.
Heather, what about that? Is that a groomer? Or is it or do you have a stylist, Dana? It's the overarching name of it. Yeah.
My whole goal is bed, head, next day hair. So I don't really need people coiffing my hair. When you go on a movie and by the time you get in front of the camera, it doesn't look anything like you.
You go, mine is bed, head, hair. I don't care. That's really my look most days. Today they just went shellac. I
think it looks very tidy, very early Steve McQueen. You look a little biker.
I'm older than Steve McQueen. When did he I delicately
48
say croak?
Or 50. He went to the stars.
God dang, really?
Yeah. I had a weird SNL thing. The sketch got cut, and I feel bad about it. We had Kamala.
The show was loaded. Kamala was I say it wrong. Kamala was in the 28-minute cold opening.
Yes. And it was...
So were you.
What I wanted to say, because this election happened and a lot of people are upset, which is normal. And it was pretty much decided by 2 a.m., I guess, because I went to bed and it was like sleep.
Your time, yeah.
12 or something, my time in New York. And then I woke up and it was like I checked and it says Trump wins. And here's my takeaway from the coverage last night. Did you watch any of it? Maybe you didn't.
I did watch some. Yeah.
They have these guys, and I know they've done this for several cycles now, but it seems more sophisticated. The guy's up with the map, and he's like a wizard moving things around. And here you see in Calico County, here Joe Biden carried 28,000, and Kamala Harris. The metric, it was like just this massive intensity.
Yes, there's so much going on. Yeah, more than ever. Like little circles, little counties. These counties. This is how they voted. This is how they will vote. This is what we think they'll vote. Very complex. We're going to talk, when we have Gaffigan on in a little bit, he was taped right before the election, just so we are clear. And so we are talking right after.
And election night. He was taped before election night. that day.
So if we don't mention that,
he didn't see the magic man and see these big blue circles. That means a lot of young college voters could be coming in late over here. But these little red dots, these are rural voters. These are really, really stupid people, and they live way out. They said,
yeah, it's so true.
They kept it pretty neutral. I think both of them seem very scientific. CNN.
These hayseeds out here. Yeah, I'd flip back and forth because I sort of want to get a real gauge. Some talk one way. It's funny because sometimes they don't count, they don't count anything officially as far as a state for a while. I kind of like if they wait because there's too many that can flip. It's too close,
They'll say like 10 things in a row that looks like the state's going to be won by Kamala or Trump. We go, but what I said means nothing. Anything could change. Don't listen to me. Let's just give it away. But these counties are not going. And then they put Biden versus Trump 2020. And here you see the metrics here. He's up 1.5% over this time last time. I mean, it was amazing. I was exhausted. It's really hard on me.
I do look forward to it's hard on you. The political ads going away.
Did you choke up?
I turned into RFK.
Political ads, but it's going away. It's like someone who's really sad, for example. So I'm just really upset about the political ads going away.
I almost started crying. No, I choked on something, but yeah, the political ads and the local ones.
Prop 47.
Bill Squankmeyer killed someone. Oh, you act like you didn't know that? We vote for him if you want to die.
Proposition 119 to help the children. Don't you want to help the children?
Mary Wang doesn't want you to know she beats her babies. She has 11 babies and beats the shit out of them. You didn't hear it from us. Mary Wang really doesn't know a lot about this ad.
Bill Campbell likes to climb mountains and throw rocks on nursery school kids. Do you want to stop Bill Campbell? Prop 111. Because stop throwing dirt on our children.
And a kid going like this. He built a roller coaster that exploded at the state fair. And then he laughed. They show him. Is that who you want? Oh, you want that guy. Oh, okay.
He strangled a crosswalk guard and then walked away. Isn't it time we put them behind bars? Proposition 1348, because it's time.
Do you remember when Jim Jenkins put a nun in a sleeper hold? We do. Here's a clip. Vote for him if you want. I don't know about you. I don't want to go into a guillotine hold.
Do you remember when Kathy Woodfline slapped her pet duck in the face? This ad
on purpose?
This ad is against duck slapping. Paid for the committee to duck slapping.
This ad was paid for by the duck.
Tired of seeing
tired of seeing rabbits bullied.
This ad is paid for the Don Rabbits for the bully. Now they can just do it super fast. Okay, go ahead.
I have to show you a picture just because we're on this subject, which we're not. This is a mystery picture I just got because, Lori Jo, who's been working with Norm forever. She's going through his stuff. She just sent me a picture. It's kind of a tearjerker. It's just funny because I have no idea what this is from. Here's a funny picture. I go, Lori Jo, I don't remember this, but Norm really fell apart at the end. Is that Norm? No, I said, this is rubbing face. This is, I don't know what. I'm by Trellis. Is that what it's called, Heather?
All I'm saying, when I look at this, because of the stories I've heard, when a chimp goes full chimp, you are in danger in that picture, sir. If that chimp decides to turn and eat your face in 1 second, there's not a thing you could do or who's ever off camera. So you got to be careful.
He says, I have the strength of a much bigger chimp than I am. By the way, he has pants on, so he's sort of domesticated, but I'm holding this and she said, there's another picture of Norm holding another chimp. I'm like, where are we? Maybe this is when we went to the zoo and taught animals how to do stand-up.
I don't know. Sketches. I've been around chimps, but I don't remember holding one like that for a photo.
I'm holding it wrong, but I don't even know how where's my arm? I don't know what's going on.
Do you have friends who
look at how terrified I am?
Who dress up indigenous chimpanzees into clown clothes and then hold them for photos, pay for the people who want to keep Chip's dignity?
I don't know about you, but if I'm a chimp, I don't want to look like a jackass. Paid for by chimps that don't want to look like jackasses.
Yeah, okay, that was a good one. It wasn't bad. You made a chimp look like a jackass. I don't know what the third is there. There's got to be a third. Yeah, I don't know. Jackass.
Also, there's a big hubbub if we're going into stories about. It's sort of political.
There's a lot of stories.
The squirrel. This is a tough story for Heather here. This is a tough story for anyone to hear. The squirrel was euthanized because. Oh yeah, New York's decision to seize is rough too. That reminds me, I got to get a power crunch.
So the New York decided to get one specific squirrel. Why?
Do you know this story?
Well, it said, I've only heard about Peanut the squirrel, but I didn't know they're euthanizing him in New York when there's 10 million squirrels. Right. Why this squirrel?
By the way, you kill an animal, that's the front page. People will flip out. So understandably, there was a squirrel. They called in that it bit someone, Heather, or might have bitten someone.
Oh, it turned rabid or something?
So they say, in fear of rabies. And then they got there. First question they asked, do you have any cameras in the house? Why? I'm getting to the juicy part. They also found a raccoon, took that, euthanized that. They said in case people have rabies, and it's like crazy. So now, I think I got that right. But now the guy says, they asked if we have cameras because the neighbor was mad they do OnlyFans. So they were looking for a reason to bother them, and they didn't like that. And I don't know. I'm sort of making this up. But they think that was the reason they didn't like them because they're doing OnlyFans, like a couple or something. Like how I have not one fact, nothing.
It's a fascinating.
But I will say, I know it really petered off at the end. But and then I thought, is the guy getting attention for the OnlyFans? Even though the squirrel is a national story.
Attention.
Everyone is.
You need attention to trend on OnlyFans or everything. We just don't do crazy stuff. We would never hurt an animal to get ratings on our podcast. Newsflash. Secondarily, who decided to call killing an animal euthanizing an animal? Bill Euthanize? Bill Euthanize invented the word euthanize. So people are murdered, but that sounds pretty good. He wasn't killed. He was euthanized. Pay for people to want to stop Bill
really
euthanize.
Bite anyone? People that want to just go back to the word killed. Okay, let's go to the stories then, because should we, or what do you want to talk about? Dana, everyone I think at some point has problems with credit. I have, my family did early on. I'm sure that's a relatable situation.
Absolutely.
And we've probably got listeners that are in the same boat. This is a way to, boost your credit. And you wish you learned it sooner because it's never too late.
Oh, yeah. If all of a sudden
this is like a creative idea.
You see a little house, a starter home, you want to buy it, and and you're struggling with credit. It's hard to get a loan. So it is kind of a grown-up thing. If you're buying a car too, all kinds of stuff. Moving into a new apartment.
Kickoff. And Kickoff simplifies credit building with plans that are fast and easy, and they safely jumpstart your credit. When things seem impossible, this makes it feel possible, which is all you really want. No credit check required. It's not for everyday spending. This is to help build your credit, which is really what you want. You have other things for that.
And, by the way, and guess what? Users with credit under 600 increase their credit by an average of 28 points in the first month. And that's a big leap in that world. Kickoff is smart, legit credit hack with no catch, no credit check, no hidden fees, and no interest, David.
And by the way, you can start building credit immediately for only $1. That's for your first month. AutoPay helps you build credit while you sleep. Never worry about missing a payment. You can sign up for minutes on your phone, which is always the easiest. No credit check. You can bail out and cancel anytime you want.
Build your credit fast with Kickoff, the best credit billing plan to jumpstart your credit. Get your first month for $1. That's $1. That's 80% off the normal price when you go to getkickoff.com/superfly today.
That's Kickoff without the C. Get KIKOFF.com/superfly. Must sign up via getkickoff.com/superfly to activate this offer. Offer applies to new Kickoff customers first month only, subject to approval. Average impact of 28-point increase in the first month is based on Equifax Vantage Score 3.0. Changes for Kickoff customers with starting credit below 600 who have made their first on-time payment between January 2021 and March 2024.
Payment and credit activity outside Kickoff can have an impact on your credit. Terms and conditions may apply. Offer subject to change. Individual results may vary.
All right, I'll tell you about my Halloween costume idea.
Okay.
It's not Jason Kelsey. It is, picture this idea. It's for the 40-plus crowd. So I have scraggly brown hair about down to here, and I have like a striped shirt on and a Coke spoon around my neck, and I go as Peppermint Chatty. Hey, man, what's going on? How's your Halloween going? I'm going to start working out. You know who Peppermint Patty is, right?
Yeah. Peppermint Patty. And okay, I see it now. Do we have a picture of this?
No, I'm just saying I want to go next year as Peppermint Chatty.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
What?
Now,
he looks young.
Yeah. No, this is Trump during his speech to claim victory in the presidential thing. I mean, he just was really rested. He finally took a really wrong nap. I took a long nap and I couldn't believe it, and here I am. But I guess that's actually Trump. Someone sent this to me. I guess it's Trump as a little kid.
What?
Or is it a kid who looks like Trump, or is it photoshopped?
Or is it AI, or is it none of the above? Let's go to the phones.
You know, Mom,
well,
what I could
hair
use
is too
right
perfectly
now.
Trump's.
I know. It's too, yeah, it definitely has to be. You're right. It's a comb over,
so
and the
funny,
kid
though.
is one. You know, I'm doing terrific, and I could use some milk, and you know how I like it. I like it the regular way. So let's get busy, Mom. You know how I do these things. And you look at it, and you see it.
Yeah, you know how I do these things. Also, what did he said in his speech, he goes, and I'm not going to rest. I'm like, I think you need to rest a little because he's older and he's been campaigning for a month.
I saw a little mini doc of when he said, I'm going to run for president 2022. And he was almost, you could hear the crew stifling laughs. Like, oh, come on, man. You're so over.
Come on, guy. Don't put us through this. Yeah.
It is the most, you got, I mean, you just can't, he's like radioactive. You couldn't kill him if you tried. He's like,
that's right.
Unbelievable. Whoop-de-whoopties. Mm-hmm.
All right. You have a picture of, let's go back to Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, we can trend on this one.
Well, these guys are, of course, our buddies. Jason was on the show. So it's a very serious picture of him. Is that his new headshot? I don't mind it. So he's wearing that Madonna microphone. So he goes to a game. Of course, I know nothing. He goes to football college game. He's leaving. You know, when you leave, people come up and talk to you. But also to get clout, some people start trouble, of course, because getting in a situation with a celebrity is way better because you're going to wind up minimum on TMZ. So for good or bad, just want to get attention.
So he used a slur referring to his brother. And I would say this from observing and having Jason on the Kelsey brothers. Like if it was right on Jason, I don't think he would have gotten tweaked by it. But when you attack my brother, I don't. It's, the Kelseys go full Kelsey at that point. And in this case, the guy is, compared to a regular human being, he's exceptionally strong. Like you would not want him to punch you.
What are you doing?
So it's an act of kindness to take his phone and smash it, as opposed to the young man's head. So
sure, and you know, I think I saw the story, and then Jason fought back, and it sort of went badly for everybody involved. Fine, but I get mad like that too, and I think there's not enough attention on the guy that did it. Like how uncool that was. They're just more saying, Jason, are you sure you apologize? Should we accept this? But go look at the instigator of everything I don't know. He got his phone broken. Who cares?
He said something foul and out of the blue to fuck with him to get a reaction. But you saw him walking until he said, my brother. So it's kind of a thing. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. So don't mess with my brother is what I'm getting from them. And also, if you're going to yell something at a Kelsey and you yell at the other brother, you go to Travis and you say something about his brother, you're going to get
similar situation.
You're going to get something. But the cell phone was an act of kindness rather than a right cross to the face. Because, when you're 270 pounds, you really hurt people.
Oh,
I have that problem.
And the thing is,
people are on the street sometimes and they'll yell, David, Spade, and whatever, pejorative. And, I go nuclear. I'm scrappy.
You go nuts.
I go low, then I go high. I'll take 3 to get in.
They say Dana, and I say yes. And they go, oh, are you Dana? And then it gets confusing. And then I take their phone, I try to lift it, and then I throw it.
One guy said to me, whatever happened to David Spade? And I slapped his face really hard. Went, nothing, bitch.
Oh.
And that was our manager, Mark Gervitz.
I was kidding. I had one simple question. Why doesn't Spade like money?
Why won't he get in the rocket ship and fly for 12 hours in a snowstorm?
Dana likes money.
Mm-hmm. Apparently you don't.
Rob Lowe likes money.
We have to make, I think Mark would like this. We each have them, little puppets of like a little frog or something.
Go like this.
It kind of looks like our manager. Yeah, you apparently don't like money because it is like a puppet show at this point.
You go, Mark, I'm flying around the globe 3 times. I got a globe in my office. Doesn't look that big.
Yeah. Trust me.
Trust me.
Trust me. You're going to like it when you get the check. But
I go, I thought it was going to be more money. The landscape has changed. That's a good one.
It's not good out there right now. Everybody's getting hurt.
I go, really? Smartless is getting hurt? Not them.
Everybody's taking
Trust me.
Taking a
Trust
haircut.
me, they're not making what you think. I go, I think they're doing fine. Everybody's getting a haircut. That's a good one too.
Everybody's getting a haircut. Everybody's taking less. Everybody's taking less.
All right, next story, even though Mark's the funniest one.
Who's the funniest?
Oh, yeah. How long are we done?
Okay. Another Kelsey story.
Okay. Oh, this is another Kelsey story. They made, I think Heather knew. Did you know this? They made a Hallmark movie based on Taylor and Travis.
Oh, okay. Some third party, not them. Okay.
Let's look at the pic. I don't think they're part of it.
Yeah. I see.
Oh, no. They make him look like an idiot right away.
I'm Drew.
Why would a great-looking football player have a chance?
He's the best receiver in the world.
Get his number.
It's her!
I want to see you again.
Put her in a movie.
Oh, boy.
Like regular people, huh?
Don't screw this up.
I promise not to fall in love with you.
Oh, of course. There's an imaginary little
The
sister.
more I'm with you, the more I really
I just
like
can't
you.
believe they got a documentary
Okay.
crew to follow him around like this. It's so spot
I know
on.
we're trying to keep this a secret.
Lathe
but I don't know if I can keep
Scrambler.
this up.
It was nice to meet you.
In a Flomney production.
Is this the whole fucking movie? My God. Look at how much she looks like Taylor Swift on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'll tell you what, they would never make this with just comedians like us and a pop star.
I don't know, we'd ruin
He's
it.
funny. Get his number.
Yeah.
Um,
He tackled her down and married her. But I'm sure in this movie, they get married. What do you think?
yes, because they want ratings and they want money.
Right.
And they like money.
See? People on Hallmark like money.
Let's ask Heather. Heather, what do you think of having a boyfriend who's like 6'8", 660 as your boyfriend, and he can pick you up, throw you over his shoulder, swing you around, throw you in a stroller? I mean,
Are you asking, is it good that he's a football player or that he's
or
huge
that
or that
he
he's
can,
rich?
like
and
he just
great
carries
looking?
her out on stage like a little baby, and she's like 5'8". I mean, she's not, and he says, "Don't drop the baby," which is kind of sweet, Taylor
Go
Swift.
ahead. With.
3, So Heather, weigh in on the size of the man. I'm not talking about
something where ladies like to always feel a little bit smaller
Yeah.
than their guy.
Can you hear that? Ladies like to feel a little smaller than the guy.
With that, but as long as it's consensual,
Oh, she says, is it consensual? We don't know.
running around.
I think it's consensual between Taylor Swift and Travis.
What if it wasn't in this Hallmark movie? That's where they kind of go wrong.
Yeah, he just turns. It's time for me to score a touchdown. What?
Now she's a hostage in his basement.
Yeah.
Where's the pop star? He's like, I don't know. She was with you.
Yeah.
No, and then the cops are like, doof, doof.
He opens the trap door and looks down. You'll get fed tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
No football player.
That would be it. If they spun it like that, I'd probably watch most of it. Get a little Silence of the Lambs in there. Keep it exciting.
I wish them all the best. They have to be, if you take Trump as a metric of resiliency, no matter what's thrown at him, he just keeps coming. The world attention on this couple, just think of them as it's Taylor and Travis. They're just dating,
They're
they
just
can
at Arby's.
withstand this and go with it and not go crazy. It's good
the
on
storm.
them. Yeah. Too many cameras. Got to get away.
Well, listen, when people know you're dating and everyone comments, it's already hard. And then add that times.
It's a Hollywood story. So it's the
million.
Handsome football star, world class Super Bowl winner, just what women like in a man, he is, and then she's supernaturally talented and beautiful. It's like kind of a fairy tale, and we're all on pins and needles. I talked to Chapel Roan about it at the show. She's a huge fan of our podcast.
Where is she? Get her. What if she leaned in? This is where she's supposed to lean in.
I just made that
up Dana.
In case she's listening.
Did you talk to her? Did you go up and go, hey? Did you act like Biden the whole time when you talk to people?
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked with.
Well, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, they want to hear the Biden. I ran into some nice people, had some nice things to say at the party. I don't want to name drop Jon Stewart, but it doesn't matter who was there. But people, Biden's a new character that's about to leave the stage. Hey. But I think he should walk around the White House with a T-shirt that says 81 on it.
What's that mean?
Because in 2020, he got 81 million votes. And sweet Kamala got 66 million. So he should just have a T-shirt. It's 81. What does it mean?
It should say 81M and then under it. You like that?
How about just 81 million? Why are we hiding and pretending?
Yeah, you got to help people a little bit. Yeah, 81 million.
I would have won it. I would have beat him like a drum. I would have won it. People know I would have.
It's a cakewalk.
Come on, I'm being serious. I would have beat him like a drum. I did it before.
You could do that this week on the show. You should be in your room with a cigarette going, you know what?
People can do the one index finger tap with the ashes because you'd think mostly, and it's kind of like that or something.
I guess somebody doesn't want to win.
But, it's just, everything's a human story. I don't know how it feels to lose the presidency. Trump knows how. He got a little angry about it. He knows how to win, though. He's had that twice, so.
Looks good on the res.
Hopefully tomorrow he won't say it. I just changed it. I talked to the Supreme Court and I can do 3 terms starting now. I'm going to 90. I know how to be 90 and I'm going right there.
All right, one more story and then we got to go because we got a good guest.
We have a really good guest today.
We got a really good guest. Here we go.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, this is just a goofy one. So this guy is going to try to walk through this hula hoop. Big shoulders.
Trying to get through a hula hoop.
Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way big shoulders.
Okay, you can turn the volume down.
Okay. Here he goes. He's a big guy. He's crossed himself.
He puts his sweat napkin in his hat.
And you doing it blindfolded? Oh, bro.
He's creeping up on it. Oh.
Okay. That's pretty good, right?
It wasn't even hard.
It wasn't even close.
What's this guy say? He's blown away.
He said, nah, bro. He's perplexed as we are. This is the highlights of the world's Instagrams. That's out there. That's a good harmless one.
No, it didn't look like he could fit through. And then he went back and he went through fast and he leaned down a certain way. It's kind of like when you're moving a refrigerator, a couch through a door frame. And some reason, you have to lift it up and it creates more vertical space, or just
something.
you know what I'm talking about.
I saw you do this once when we were going to dinner and someone had a hula hoop and you had your pile of money you carry and you go, you think it could fit in there? And everyone's like, no. And then you like squished it. And you go, look, and then a lot fell out.
I know. Well, that's when you got me that Dr. Seuss cap for Christmas, and Paula said, "What are you going to do with it?" I go, "Stuff cash in it and go to a restaurant with David."
But it's Scrooge McDuck.
It's a big Dr. Seuss thing, and I put lots of 20s in there.
It's just money.
Yeah, and then
all right. Well, let's get Jim out here because
we can always we have editing capability. Jim
coming
Gaffigan.
up next. You're our buddy. But you get to work with him lately.
I worked with him for the last 5 shows on Saturday Night Live. He came in, had never been in 8H, never done sketch comedies. We'll talk all about that and how he found his Governor Walsh. And, his character lost the election, but he didn't lose the election because that guy is a winner as a sketch player and a comedian and a hell of a nice human being.
New Hulu comedy coming out on November 22nd. We'll talk about that. Here he is, Jim Gaffigan. Let's talk. I have a different shirt on.
Hey, you're bad-mouthing me.
No, no joke. He's saying you're better friends than me and him are already.
What's going? Dana has been like my support animal.
Yeah.
I've got a few laps under my belt. But I do say this, and I've said it before, and it became a catchphrase as Hans and Franz. Whoops, it looks like the student has become the teacher. I used to say that to the junior varsity sometimes. Chris Rock or you or Sandler. The student has become the teacher. Jim is a quick learner, but the first week he texted me because let's just set the scene. This is Jim Gaffigan. He has 11 specials. He's world famous. He's incredibly successful. Great stand-up, great writer. So anyway, that's out of the way. Now, he came in green going, hell, I don't know nothing about no sketch comedy.
What we doing here?
I ain't never done nothing like that.
What's this microphone?
Yeah. Why do they call it a script?
Is it live?
No, now you do you.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I met that Lauren Michaels. I thought it was going to be a woman.
Hey, Lauren.
I thought all I know is Lauren Green.
He came up to me and you said, I remember I quote was like, well, Mr. Danagarney, what should we do next?
What's going on?
This here's a big building.
Sure is crazy.
No, it was so bizarre.
Yeah. You've never hosted, just so that people know you haven't hosted, so it's all new. It's all new.
Good enough. I'm not good enough.
Keep your phone nearby.
This is a long audition. This 4 weeks.
It's a microcosm of the entertainment industry, right? It's just every emotion that a performer might feel, they have felt it around SNL. Like everyone desperately wants to do it. Everyone goes through emotions where they feel like they should be there, and then they feel like they're being ignored, and then they feel like they're embraced, and it's just a blanket. Every generation alive today knows about SNL. It's amazing. Turn off this.
Was that?
Yeah,
that was me just saying you're doing
that's
a great.
At the end of a question, we
far.
tell you that's your limit. You know what's funny is Greg, Lil Wayne said. He said, the Super Bowl halftime show was ripped away from me. And I think that made me think of what Jim said is there's everyone in Hollywood at some point thinks SNL was ripped away. They're like, if they don't get asked, they feel like this is the year I've done enough. They should ask me. Right. Yeah. Kind of like that.
Yeah. It's such a unique, because in our lifetime, in comedy, it's the last pillar of this significance. It's like even the status of obviously HBO is great, and I would love to do an HBO special.
Mhm.
But like, it's like compared to like when I was in my 20s, an HBO special was enormous. I mean,
Huge.
you know, hosting the MTV Video Awards was like an incredible event at one point, and SNL has remained. And let me read these other things that Lauren told me to say. He said,
do you want to start linearly? Do you want to like, you got the call to do Walls, Governor Walls?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever you think.
I don't know. I mean,
all right,
everybody's got to
Just
know.
me coughing.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is, of course, when he was picked by Kamala, I say Kamala because I'm friends with her now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I call her Cam Cam.
Cam. And once he was picked as the running mate, every dopey, out of shape white guy after Steve Martin turned it down was kind of like, what about this guy? And of course, I would love to do it, but I also know that because of the prestige of SNL, it's not something that you can necessarily campaign for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's definitely
you look thirsty. You just hope they find you, right?
Yes. And so my manager was talking to someone, and at one point I was shooting a movie. You know, I one day a year on a movie, and I was shooting in the UK actually. And so then he called me and he said, "Hey, you know, I've been talking to this person about you for Tim Walls, and I've been saying that you're sending me videos of you doing an impression of Tim Walls." And I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." So now they're kind of saying, "Can I see those videos?" And I was like, "Oh, so you want me to?" And it was like 10 o'clock the night before I was doing one day on a movie. And so then I kind of just went around my hotel room and put on a jacket and took off a jacket and put on a sweater and did little things of Tim Walls, which is essentially I'm portraying my brother Mitch, who lives in Indiana, who has a very Chicago accent. It's just like a guy. And but I thought that was funny. And normally for me, whenever I get that close, I definitely don't get it. Like whenever I test for a sitcom, it's just
Marvel movie.
Because life's hard for me.
Yeah.
I was 0 for 200 at one point.
What's that?
I was 0 for 200 at one point reading for things. But go ahead, David.
I said you also have a lot of shows booked. And also sometimes managers, they told me, we have the same management team. And they told me, hey, we're talking to these guys about this movie. We're talking to these guys about this movie. And it's between you and another guy. I'm like, what movie? So that happens where it's like they're pushing and then you're not even aware if you want anything or not. I had not read the movie. I don't know what the movie's about. They're going, it's looking pretty good though. It's looking pretty good. I go, what is? But that's like you. They're like, by the way, you got Waltz. Second question, do you want to do it?
Of course.
I think you should do it. I know. Everyone wanted you to do it.
That's the funny thing is like, what if you said, I have no interest in that? And then they go, oh, now what do we do?
And by the way, go ahead.
By the way,
and guess what?
And by the way,
again, it's SNL, so it's. I mean, I guess it's you guys have a different perspective on it, but it's this elusive thing that has been always out of my grasp, and you know, as an American comedian, that's. The measuring stick used to be like, oh, you're a comedian. Have you been on the Tonight Show or have you been on Letterman? And, have you ever been on SNL? And I did a short Jack Handy thing a million years ago. But,
oh, wow.
Love Jack Handy.
Where I played a murderer.
That's
interesting casting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SNL, this is probably of all years, the year to do it. And the 50th is a big year and an election year, which is always big for Saturday Night Live. So the combo platter is a bigger deal, you know.
Massive
so how fun you got to be a part of this one.
Massive global pickup with this show.
Yeah, it's crazy how viral everything, particularly the political thing on SNL. It's like there's the people that watch it, but now we're in this clip age where then the clip goes, you know, the Daily Beast posts about it, the Drudge Report posts about it. It's almost, you know, it becomes unavoidable.
I think Deadline, I follow Deadline. I think Deadline on Twitter puts every single sketch on. I never knew that. I mean, usually on a Monday, you'd see what's their funniest thing they did, and they would show a clip and it gets out there on Yahoo News or whatever. And now suddenly it's everything on my feed. I can see for sure every sketch, even update. It's like, boom, as they're coming out, boom, boom.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I don't know if this is true, but I think Ariana Grande, it was like the show, and then 350 million across all platforms, you know, TikTok, everything. So that it matriculates. People just watch the first episode, you know, texting me.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw that, you know. So anyway, we meet. You're coming in 8H for the first time. The read-throughs are now in 8H. They used to be in a little room upstairs, basically. And it's set up with 40 people. There's tablecloths. There's cards like an Oscar party. There's piano. There's music. And it's kind of, I was a little nervous. I was coming in doing Biden for the first time. That was the read-through we were at. And you were reading. And so how did that feel? Because that's the first time you kind of hang it all out, you know. Here comes Jim's take, you know.
It's very unnerving, and there is a sense that this can change in a moment's notice, where you know, Lauren could be like, I didn't really like that. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that he's attaching an opinion to it. It's just the reality. So there was something of like, you know, I canceled all these stand-up dates. I hope that they don't change their mind.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, it was.
Well, they can tweak, right? You know, you take your take on it. It's like a movie, and then you get with the directors or people around or the writers, and they say, "Could you?" I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know what happened, but sometimes they will play with it a little bit until everyone agrees this is the right feel.
Yeah, I was surprised at the amount, probably because there's just so much happening so quickly there, particularly and the cold open feels separate from the show in some ways, that I feel like Dana and I were like, well, because you know, these head writers, are juggling so many things, and the last thing you want to do is be a pest. And so it also doesn't serve your needs to be kind of like, what about this every 2 seconds? So there's Dana and I are like, are we crazy about, you know, like if you do catch someone's ear, you want to be very precise with an idea you have. You don't want to just be jawing their ear off, because, you know, also they haven't slept for 3 days. So it's,
you pick your fights. You go, can I just change this line? You have to have like a plan. Like, this is my most important thing. Instead of going, it feels a little wonky. They're like, it'll be great out there. And then you're like, oh shit, I didn't really specify what I needed.
I think they've been pretty good all in all, but I know what you mean. There's a lot of different inputs into that cold opening and the political environment. It's moving in real time. But I think for someone like Jim, the stand-up, you know, he just knows that there's a rhythm and a musicality to the way you land a laugh, and as Waltz. So I kind of encourage you just to say, take it or leave it. We don't try to push, like, put this in, but sort of suggest it. And a lot of times they're like glad, like, oh, great. Now one less joke. We don't have to fix it.
Yeah.
So it is kind of nice. But so I watched you throughout the week get more and more confidence, because then we go down, we're on our feet, and we're kind of walking through it. And you know, you're kind of feeling a little better, or how are you? Like,
it's, you know, it's also, it's strange, but there's also nothing more fun than trying a new joke, right? So there's nothing more rewarding, but it is very strange, and it's also but you're also, you're inserted into this all-star lineup, right? With Dana and Maya and Andy. And so there is it's fascinating. It's just so weird how it reminds me, because there's been different times when I've been hired for different acting jobs, and you have a couple lines. For me, I'm such an obsessive person that whether I have 2 lines or whether I have like 10 pages, all that will take up all my time. I don't know about you. It's like,
sure. Just want to get it right.
I think Andy,
I have never seen you in all these 5 weeks not holding the script.
Yeah. And whereas like, I think Andy Samberg, I don't think he even looked at a script. He was so
he's good at it. Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Just the cards. Right. Which, and I think after the first week, I was like, I do have to read the cards, but also as a funny person, it's much more important to get the sentiment of the joke or the point of view of the joke than the exact wording. But yeah, it's so different because it's also, as we all know, as stand-ups, you go up there by yourself. You're the writer, director, and editor. So if you're like not feeling it, you could just be like, I don't want to do that right now, and you can move on. But when you're particularly in such a
you have like 80 eyes on you on this one, like, what's he doing? And then
you want to be, obviously you want to be respectful to the other performers and to the writers, and I think when it's like different if you have your own TV show, you can sit there and go, no, I'm going to say this. Whereas you want to be respectful of everyone here.
It was interesting on the cold opening, the first show, where we were ostensibly top secret, not revealed. We would go in secret ways to the building. Who's going to play who in this thing? And then it was very gratifying to watch, when you came out just with that kind of energy and doing the prayer hands and this. And then they would, for Andy too, they would kind of like, it's Jim Gaffigan. And then it would just really, and I was sitting back on the couch going, well, that's kind of satisfying. They're like, we're so happy it's you doing Waltz. It's a great,
so fun.
Boost. Yeah.
So fun. So, such a really kind of rewarding experience. It's bizarre.
And the one with you and Bowen side by side, that that came together on air. That had some great moments. That was a killer section in there.
Yeah, and I love the last. I actually love the last minute aspect of it because it reminds me of like when you're about to go on stage doing stand up and you have an idea, or you're on the subway and you have an idea that adjusts a joke that you've been working on for like an extended period, and it's that adjustment that really helps. Because I was just always watching Tim Wall's videos, and I would see him do a behavior, and then I'd be like, all right, I'll bring that in. Because again, there's so many moving parts. It wasn't like people were like, Tim Walls does this, can you add it? It was left up to me, which I know is surprising.
You know what? Everyone's so good that as an outsider watching, I would say give it to Gaffigan, give it to Maya, or give it to Dana, and then they're going to get it 98% there because they're such perfectionists in their own comedy that it's kind of nice that you can hand it over and it's going to be pretty much what it's going to be. And they have so much on their mind. I think it's great that you're working on it because you want to just, every time they see you, it's a tiny bit better. And they're like, oh, he's been paying attention because we have other 22 sketches and all the other millions of things going on.
Yeah.
And then if Kamala comes, they have to say, oh, now it's more security, more hassle, more confusion. I guess, wasn't it? I mean, I'm guessing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Speak to that. Just that whole evening.
It's, there's times when I don't know. I don't have a machine gun. I don't have an AR, but to walk down the hallway and there's like 6 guys with machine guns. You're like, I don't know if we need 6. You know,
I thought it was more like 12 or something.
Feels
because
like
it's like I'm a pragmatist. I'm like, I'm not a gun guy, but I think a handgun would be more practical here than
you don't want to catch some.
They seem to be 6'5". They had helmets. They had flak jackets, big boots, and then
night vision goggles. Too.
Night vision goggles, and then this assault rifle or machine gun or whatever it was. And I'm dressed as a tomato. I'm like, "Hi, fellas!" It's like I never felt more feminine.
They have those goggles because they saw in the itinerary it's Saturday Night Live. They're like, "Bring the night vision."
It's also, and I don't know, because they were all very nice, very professional.
Absolutely.
But you could also get a sense a little bit. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we're at SNL."
Do you talk to them like London guards? Are you allowed to talk to them?
Yeah, I mean, they were, but like when she came down the hallway, I had to leave. And then Dana, you got to hang out with her, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, when I was walking down the middle of those guys dressed as Biden, I just instinctually did a little salute, like I was the commander in chief. So it was all very just, when is she coming? How is she coming? Everyone was waiting longer.
Is she happy?
And we needed to fit in a time for her to rehearse with Maya. Yeah. Just so we're waiting to do the notes. We're in 8H. There's a tension and a sensitivity going on, a quietness. It was like an exotic tiger was coming. When is Kamala coming? And she comes in and she turns and she gets a huge smile on her face, looks all around 8H and go, "Oh, my mother could see me now." And then kind of under her breath, she goes, "Of course she's seeing me now." I thought it was very sweet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so if we want to jump ahead afterwards, I was going down the hall. She'd done the cold opening. And it was a very, whatever your political thing is, it was a very human moment. The way the audience, the emotion of the audience for her in that studio for about 2 minutes couldn't help but, kind of well you up. I mean, it just was sort of emotional. And then she's down in the Maya's dressing room. Her people go, "Oh, take a picture," because I was still dressed as Biden. Yeah. And then I came in and she kind of went, "Hey." And so I had about a minute face to face with her and I just did all my Biden hooks. No, I'm not kidding. I'm being serious. She laughed so hard. She was bent over laughing. So that was kind of a interesting. So, I guess she sees all of this from a different point of view, but it was kind of seemed cathartic or something. I don't know. People seem to like it.
No, I thought it was really interesting because when they did the very brief rehearsal, and it was a long dress, so it was not like there was an abundance of time for any of this.
Oh, was it between dress and air, her rehearsal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that
it was
late.
Like close to 11 o'clock or something.
Oh, shit.
Like
that's first time she rehearsed.
And then they did the meeting after that. And
quick,
so,
God dang.
When they did the and they didn't even rehearse the whole scene. They just rehearsed her and Maya. And by the way, Dana, if I'm saying anything I'm not supposed to say, you guys have to cut this out.
Oh, we have editing capability, by the way. So you can say anything.
What I thought was really interesting, and this is just me being paranoid, is that Maya has such a presence and, blood of ice. And I mean that as a compliment, is that, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if, Maya's been doing this in this room for years, right? And then this person who's been on the campaign trail, who, having come in 5 weeks earlier and was intimidated by the setting, by the live setting, even though I'm a stand-up comedian and a great actor. But when I was like, is Kamala going to, when they do that mirror thing, is the status of Maya going to kind of be a disservice to Kamala? I don't think it was, but it entered my mind. Like,
you mean a super pro?
Yes. Whereas just, Maya just is so, such a home run hitter and just like never strikes out, that is the juxtaposition, is that going to end up being a disservice to Kamala? And it didn't end up being that way. It actually, I think that Kamala appeared very warm and very, like, I think it was a really important humanizing moment. Here, let me tell you what Lauren also wanted me to say. No, but it was one of those things where I was like, oh wow, she really hit it out of the park.
I think Kamala, it was held up her side because she's not an actress and she's coming in like on the fly. There's really almost no rehearsal, and so it is fucking scary as shit. Even if, like you said, we've all done it. If I was sitting there, I'd be freaking out. And your hand could shake. You don't know. You're just like, yeah, it's almost too much. And especially if you've never, she's giving speeches, but it's a different animal.
I think
let's be honest, you guys. What's more difficult, being on SNL or being president? You know what I mean? It's SNL.
It's just different.
Absolutely. We just want the audience to know how hard. But, I think that you're talking yourself in the mirror was the conceit, and it's been done a lot, but it was very maternal in a sense. And in the end, Kamala, give me your hand. And it was written not in a hectic way. It was kind of slow and casual and relaxed. And the way Maya was so supernaturally comfortable.
They gave her good jokes. It was not too long, in my opinion, because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't ask Dana for any spoilers. And I thought the Pamela was the first big laugh. I was like, oh, that's great. And then they did a few plays on words.
Yeah.
And then they sort of ended it. And it was like, oh, good. It's not dragging out forever. It's not, classically like, oh, they went too long. It's like, oh, great. Tight. Get to say live from New York. Big ending. Get out.
Yeah. And surprisingly, it was just a very friendly audience. It was. They really, who would think? But it was. I've said this to people when I went to do the George Bush Senior White House. That I was sitting with Neil Young at the party, telling him that, and he just said to me, he didn't even. It was in an apolitical thing. He goes, "Oh, that's a human thing, man. That's a human thing." So it was like whatever your political stripe is, it was this woman who's now is running for president in this room, being kind of awestruck in some ways, and then having that sort of reaction. It's just like it was hallowed grounds for a moment. It was like only SNL can capture these kinds of moments because everybody knows it's live.
Yeah. It's particularly in this year where I think the most important media piece was not these traditional media things, but I think her appearance on SNL was significant. You know what I mean? Like compared to like some of the media hits that historically would, like, I don't think they would even contemplate having her appear on, a sitcom.
Like and anyone who sits there and the part where she asked Maya, do I really laugh like that? She says a bit. Yeah. Anytime a human being can laugh at themselves a little bit, the likability quotient or the relatability quotient goes up. So yes, it was a home run, as they say. But will people vote differently because of us? I mean, you and me in particular, or did we reorientate Western society?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It says here in my calendar, reorientate Western society. But everything is kind of nice when the reviews, I don't possess on them, but now you can not, I think it was New York Times or something. You can't imagine anyone else playing waltz after seeing Jim Gaffigan was one of the ones I read, So.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Well, thank you, Jim, for talking to us. And
I'm not leaving. I'm here for another hour. We're going to do 3 hours, David. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Do you have a problem?
I run out of stuff.
You're like, then I couldn't get rid of Gaffigan.
Gaffigan now
thing. I'm still a hostage.
He smokes cigarettes now, and he's so comfortable. And young Cass will come up to him and go, Mr. Gaffigan, could you help me with this? He goes, get out of my face, kid. I got better stuff to do.
I call everyone kid.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want you guys to know, you don't have to plug my Hulu special which is The Skinny, which is on November 22nd.
What, you have a stand-up special on Hulu.
Yeah.
And it's called and when is it premiere?
The Skinny. Now, David, you taped this special recently. Jim, we're trying to get rid of you. So if you could just wrap it up and leave.
No, get this in. A Hulu special is at November 22nd, is that what you said?
Yes.
Am I reading this right? Am I reading this right?
All these streaming sites, your words, not mine. How do you pick between Netflix, Amazon, and what's it called?
What's there? Tubi? Is that a real one?
John, he went to Harvard too.
I know. No, he's a TV character. He's like Columbo or something. I mean, I want to do him on the show. I'll just say we've been doing him on this show.
There's a brilliance to his kind of.
Oh, the fumbling paper. I read something here. Could I get this
up again? Am I saying that right? Am I saying
you?
That right?
You tweeted on October 7th that you would kill all
I'm just
people.
A simple folk that studied at the John F. Kennedy School of Public Relations.
No, he's clearly very bright, but it's hysterical.
I see you squirming in your chair a little bit, but this is what
he
you
knows
say.
He's set the trap for the guest. And
it's all so funny.
And he has a little smile.
He talks like he's in the movie Mississippi Burning. He jumped in.
You're
what
we have here
able to vote.
is a failure to communicate.
Now, do you think how much you think it would cost to end climate change?
But what about?
I don't know. Well, $100 trillion.
And then there's who's the congresswoman from California who has charts? Let me ask you this: if you had 425, Katie, I can't remember her name. Katie, she has her whiteboard. She's
so funny.
I love no matter what's going on.
At least it's fun to watch. I don't even know what's going on. I just laugh.
Rand Paul with Fauci, hysterical. You, in fact, killed millions of people. Are you prepared to apologize?
By the way, it was, I know David wants to get rid of me, but I thought Tim Kaine was great. I got to hang out with Tim Kaine afterwards.
I promise you, I thought it was Tim Waltz when he came out. That's how dumb I am. I go like this.
I did a photo with Tim Kaine, and we looked the same.
By the way, it's a bit of a deep dig because
he's Irish.
To your casual viewer, you're like, there's some 24-year-old kid going, oh, that really is. What's his name? Tim
Kaine, vice presidential nominee. I ran into him at the party.
The game show one. Very funny.
Yeah, game show was a great sketch. Smart.
Monkey was very funny. Dan Bula, of course, very funny.
Yeah.
Monkey in Space.
Yeah, it's some great stuff in there. John Mulaney, great
Jim's
host.
like, I don't get to watch the whole show. I'm really lasered in.
I'm already drinking bourbon after that.
Yeah. So. Oh, you got your bourbon.
On the rocks, though.
On the rocks.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the name of your bourbon?
Father Time.
Father Time, you're right.
Do you remember at the party when I saw your cheeseburger and I said, I got to get something to eat?
And didn't I offer you half of it?
Well, it was like a petite. It was a slider. It was the size of a silver dollar.
They're ripping off cast members with sliders? That's the big story.
I did get the pasta, but guess what? In this first world problem, around 4 a.m., the waiter comes up. Sorry, the kitchen is closed.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Dana's Venmoing Jim 25 cents for pickles. Here.
I think that was my last episode because I was only contracted for that time. But
oh no.
And those parties are amazing, but I'm so wrecked the next day. It's not like I'm drinking so much. It's just staying up till 5 a.m.
5 a.m. is when I turn the light out. You know, because it's just a lot of your peers and friends. You want to say hello to Marty Short or Jon Stewart. Or,
it's so fun.
Yeah. So fun. But I'm still tired from staying up that late.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, and you get home when everyone's jogging and you guys are driving home in your limo.
This is just the behavior of someone with a severe drinking problem getting home at 5 a.m.
Jim, do you think you'll still go to the parties if you're not on the show just every week?
I think it would be too weird. I mean, I feel out of place even when I'm on the show being there. So I won't go.
Have you secured an invite to the 50th anniversary
No, I
of
have
SNL.
not.
I think that'll happen.
But wait a minute. So, have you guys been invited?
Tim, it's complicated.
What
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Gervitz.
You'll
to
have to
surprise
make
you
a
with an
video.
invite.
I told Lauren that you have made YouTube videos in a hotel room about how you would be at the 50th. So you're going to have...
I'd like to see one of those videos.
Here I am at the 50th being nice to everybody. And here I am introducing Coldplay.
Yeah. No, that would be
I've got a
amazing.
sneaky feeling that we're not done with Mr.
Let's do. We'll all
Gaffigan
split a
on
plate
Saturday
of
Night Live.
sliders.
Here's what one thing that I would add, even though David's trying to get rid of me. Dana, weren't you secretly hoping, like, I was like, oh, hopefully Tim Walz will do something like,
his pants fall down or something.
Yeah.
Some news. I don't want him to humiliate himself.
No,
but
he just...
he'll, be in some, but there's competing for attention. And even when he would, like, I think in a different time, like him even playing Fortnite with AOC, that would be newsworthy, but we live in such chaotic times.
Oh, right. That would have been a good one.
Nothing.
Who would play AOC?
Yeah.
Who plays AOC on the show? Heidi?
I think Dana would. Dana,
you
I
can do
got
it all?
an I got an AOC.
Dana ripping off characters from cast members. That's mine now. Thank you.
Well, that's the other
I'm
thing.
AOC.
It's like, you don't want to, like, I want to do other things. You would really want to take a job from someone.
Yeah, it feels weird because no one there at least looks exactly like Tim Walz. If you walk by a cast member, looks just like him, and he goes, "Hey, how you doing, man?" You're like,
No, to
"Oh my
me,
God."
Tim Walz has been not around that much, and I just saw a speech or two or whatever. So I couldn't. When I see you, it's Tim Walz.
Yeah.
I mean, no one knows the
Waltz.
idiosyncratic speech things he has. I mean, you have the prayer hands and the pounding the heart, and then
And
some
I
of those.
tried to do the ear thing because he does the ear thing, and Lauren was like, "Get rid of the ear thing."
No, too much.
To Carol Burnett, she would go
Yeah.
like this, or Lily Tomlin used to go one ringy dingy, two ringy.
Do you want a big chair like Lily Tomlin too? Come on, what are we doing here?
You
Let's
could
not
play
laugh
Tim
in.
Walz as a 5-year-old. We'll put a hairpiece on you. No, you'll be back, and I will lobby. It doesn't matter. But I think you should host. The audience clearly loves you, and you're kind of iconic at some point.
They need a
You've been
white guy to
famous.
host at some point,
Right? I mean,
and you're
something.
mostly white.
I'm mixed.
You're 120% white.
I'm mixed. I'm Irish and Scottish. Whoops.
You.
All right.
All right. You're gonna say goodbye because I cannot say it, so I've just been sitting here because They told me. Our manager said, you get him off that fucking thing at 30 minutes or we'll go dark. And I'm like, we'll pull the plug. I'm like, oh my God. This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Superfly is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss Berman of Odyssey, Heather Santoro, and Greg Holtzman. Hope you liked it.